Great. My microphone wasn't on, so I will start again. Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordinance. Thanks for tuning in to Coffee and Kalashnikovs. We are on every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Tonight we start a few minutes late because I had to get a few things together for you guys. It's going to be a pretty cool show. If you maybe overlooked it, but the thumbnail for tonight's live stream had a little banner on there and it said must have accessories for your AK. So we're going to go through a few things that I've found over the years are just things that, help the gun run better, make you a little more accurate, maybe make the gun last a little longer, make things easier for you, whatever the case may be. They're good quality products and they're just good stuff, help you out. So if you're an old timer with the AK, which we've got one gentleman that comes in here. I think it's old school AK. He may already know about all this good stuff, but some of you may not, and hopefully you pick up something that you can use. And if you guys are using some accessories that you really like on your AK, chime in the chat. Our chat is awesome. If you guys ask questions, we do our best to answer them. And if I don't have the knowledge, because I'm not an expert, the only difference between me and some people is that I've done it a few more times. That's all. And mostly because I'm older. That's all. But we try and do our best to help new people here, not belittle them or make them feel awkward because they asked a question. So no matter what your question, feel free to ask it. Nobody's gonna harp on you here. We're here to help and here to make our hobby a little more fun and just help everybody out, whether you're new or an old timer with it. So I'm just going to cover some of the housekeeping stuff. Hopefully you guys like last week's stream and the video we did on the VR80. It was fun dropping some slugs in there. It's always fun to hit steel with those slugs. Somebody made a comment that it really makes it ring, and it does. We got to get some new steel. There's some cracks right where the head comes out of the torso because I take all these headshots and it put these stress cracks in there. When you're plunking in some 308s and some heavy duty rounds, it tends to fracture after a while. So time for some new targets, and we'll bring you a video on those targets too. If you guys have seen that setup, I use it extensively. It's made by a really cool company. And they just do a great job. It's Taylor Targets, and they got a really neat system. You can set up a whole backyard range with 2 bases and a few other accessories. One of these days, I'll go over it all and show you. I got to get a hold of them, see if they want to kind of co-sponsor a video, but we'll see. Anyhow, it was fun plunking those slugs in there. It's funny, some of the comments you get. We got a couple comments from one guy, and a lot of channels might get rid of the comment, take it out, hide it, whatever, ban the person. I don't do that. I just let everybody comment and go to town. And usually, you guys, my fans, a lot of times come to my rescue in there. And hey, if I'm wrong, I admit I'm wrong on something. If somebody has a better way of doing it, I'll try it out and say, hey, man, that's really a good tip, whatever. But I'm not make stupid comments. It usually they out themselves or they just show their ignorance. So somebody was saying figures these guys never needed a optic on a shotgun. You just aim in the general direction and bam, it takes out everything. And I said, there you go, that says it all right there. I think there's still those people out there that think you fire a shotgun in the general direction of a target and it just happens to hit it because, it spreads out as wide as a semi truck, what are you going to do, guys? I don't know. But he went on and on to say how he shot deer and this and that, and he doesn't need any optics. And what he doesn't realize is, we're talking about 3-gun. We're talking about slugs, which is a little more precise placement. Sure, you could do it with a bead sight. But there's a reason, there's rifled Deer slug barrels with rifle sights and red dots, of course, make for quick target acquisition. And there's also ghost ring sights that are quick. But man, a red dot's just so fast on that thing. And I lined that ghost dot. I didn't mention in the video, but I lined that red dot up with the iron sights on that thing. And part of the video was going to be sighting it in. Man, it was just on right out of the box, just boom, boom, boom. It's so much fun shooting slugs. I love doing shotgun slug videos more than just about anything else. It's just a blast. And I just like seeing that target. If we shoot fast, usually 3 slugs, sometimes less, 5 for sure, that whole target's going over no matter what. If you knew how much that thing weighed, that is the most impressive thing, to see slugs knock that thing over. The only other round I've had do it is a 308 at like 100 yards. We'll blow that thing over if I catch it right. But it's just incredible the amount of energy released into that target from those slugs. 1 ounce ball of lead just hurled down there, and bam. It's just so much fun to do those videos. So when you see me smiling, having fun on those shotgun videos, that's the real deal. I'm having a blast out there. But we are certainly going to go over this. Like I said, a couple more housekeeping things. So as you know, YouTube likes to, kind of keep our videos on the lowdown, right? Sometimes they don't get shared as much, that type of thing. So, and sometimes we don't get monetized. So the only way this channel keeps going is through your generosity. If you look down at the bottom there, the little dollar sign where you can comment, you can leave a super chat. All that money goes right back into the channel. It really helps out. Ammo is not cheap anymore, as you know, and little things, targets, club memberships, gas to go to the range, this, that, the other. It's a losing proposition. We never got in this to make money, but certainly don't want to lose too much money, and it's a blast. So if you can, it always helps out, and we appreciate it. So that's that. Plus, it makes us see your comment a little faster. Maybe we answer your question a little faster. I try to go through the comments as completely as I can, but they scroll, and when we get a lot of people in here, it really starts rolling. It's hard to keep up. What else? We talked about our Arsenal SAM 5 last week and the problems we're having with that. I have not addressed it yet with Arsenal, just have not had the time. This is the time of year when in the Great White North here, the leaves are falling like crazy in the pine needles, and the lake's getting ready to freeze. And to top it off, the fishing's really, really good. This is the time of year for monster muskies and nice live wells full of walleye. So if some of you who've been around here for a while know, me had a lot of leaves to pick up, and my friend the scrod lip decided he'd come up and meet me and do a little fishing. What he didn't know is he was going to spend 12 hours raking up and blowing leaves. Surprised him with that one. No, he brought a big backpack blower, helped us out, climbed up on the roof and blew the roofs, and we cleaned it all up, and then had a big wind and rainstorm that night. And in the morning, it looked like we hadn't touched it. But we jumped out in a boat, went fishing, fished in the rain. So marking a lot of fish, but terrible day with that cold front coming in. Didn't catch a fish. Had one hit. That was about it. We even trolled everything, nothing. Got the new Ranger out there rolling around the lake, and man, it's so nice fishing out of that boat. Incredible. But maybe we'll start another fishing channel. I don't know, or maybe bring it in. Still haven't brought you the marlin video when we caught that 10-foot marlin. That's a pretty cool video. A little boring because the fight's long, but we could clip it up and show you the good parts. Anyhow, Rabbit Hole Reviews just gave us a super chat, 545. Well, when it comes to AKs, that's down my list a bit, but hey, speaking of rounds and super chats, I went over to 2ADU's channel the other night, Friday night, when he does his live stream. If you guys haven't been over there, you got to go check it out. It's a great live stream. He concentrates mostly on Second Amendment issues and stuff, and he's really involved. He's doing his best to fight a lot of these laws and different things in Michigan, especially. But he really does a nice job, and he does some great reviews too. He's an AK guy. He's got tons of cool AKs, a lot of cool kit builds that he's done over the years. And we can't touch guns on here, but he goes over on a couple other platforms and does some there. And he's got some really cool kit builds. He's having his annual shoot coming up early November. I'm not positive. I think the 2nd, but I got an invite to that. And I am going to do my darndest to be there because it's a ton of fun. And I think this year we will really break out the AKs and have a lot of fun. He's a big Taurus guy too, a lot of different things on Tauruses. So make sure you check him out, 2AEDU. I think he's on like 8 o'clock Fridays. That's 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Michigan time, I believe. But check it out. It seems like we got a lot of things happening, strange things like that. Sam 5 having that issue. And then I noticed something else that has a little bit to do with the AK community, but I was shooting an AR-15, my 3-gun rifle, super ultralight build. And when I was building it, I needed a muzzle device for it. And I happened to be over visiting Mark Krebs, and he gave me one of his systems. And it's one you would normally use on like a 14.5-inch barrel. You'd weld and pin it. And the basic is a 4-prong flash hider. Well, onto that, you can screw a compensator or a short or long muzzle brake or a suppressor. So when you weld and pin, it gives you more choices than just one. But this was a 60-inch barrel, but I put it on anyways. And I use the flash hider a lot, and I use the long compensator. Well, I had noticed over, I don't know, I guess since the beginning, I'd just run the flash hider or the flash hider with the comp a lot, but it came with it didn't come with, but Mark gave me this titanium muzzle brake. It's a 4-port, works really well. And the gun shot fine, super accurate. I'd be shooting, I'd get 1 shot perfect, 2 shots perfect, just bench shooting. And then all of a sudden I'd get one like, boom, 8 inches out, a foot out, it's stringing shots, weird stuff. And I could never figure it out. The other day I thought, I pulled the muzzle brake off, and it's right back on target, just plowing them in there, right? Looking at it, I'm thinking, could it be? I'm like, nah. Looking at, guys, it turns out it's not Krebs's fault. But I'm looking, and I creak inside the diameter here at the end, not the other. Yep, it's getting just the slightest muzzle strike on it. And it's not from this being off. We tested this. It's a Faxon barrel too. So Faxon, they're concentric. I check them all, and I've never had a Faxon be off. I believe what it is I just cranked the living hell out of this muzzle device to time it. And I should have backed off, and the crush washer's a little wonky from doing that. I think I torqued it and it's a pencil barrel too. Keep that in mind. So when they heat up, they can do some weird things, but it's just barely hitting it. So you take it off, and keep in mind, this is the long one too. So you're accentuating the angle further you go, but we loosened up the barrel, took off the muzzle device, retorqued everything, and it's fine once again. It had something to do with the barrel torque and the torque of the muzzle device. I was cutting corners and went too quick there, and rather than take the muzzle device off and do a little machining on it, or a different washer, that's what happened. So anyhow, another problem fixed and avoided, and I can still use this magnificent system. Like Clint Smith from Thunder Ranch says, make sure you get a muzzle device to tame the awesome recoil of the 223 cartridge. Tongue in cheek, right? There's 223 in an AR. There's no recoil. these guys, including me, are running all these monster brakes on there. Well, when you do, there is no recoil. It's gone, but this thing's amazing. And that 4-prong flash hider, there is no better. That thing blackens everything. Makes it for the AK platform and the AR. So if you want one for the AK platform, make sure you check out his website. He's got them on there. They come with the comp, the flash hider and the comp, and then you can buy a brake. If you're in a suppressor legal state, you can get a Liberty suppressor screw right on there. It's really a cool thing if you're building a 14.5-inch or anything shorter that you want to change up. It's just a cool system. So check it out. It leads into this whole accessory thing, right? That's what got me thinking about it. So we're going to get right into that as soon as we check in the chat here and see who's here. So we will jump in there. We've got our Red Bull going as usual. Ah, God, so good. Let's see. Chase Kelly, first one in tonight. It makes sense. If Joe's not here first, Chase is usually here. He says, it's Rockin' Tuesday. Yep. Rock is here on Tuesdays. Gotta love it, right? Rabbit Hole Reviews is in here. He's got a new channel, guys. Check out his channel. See what he's got going on over there. Chase says it's good. Let's see. Everything's good. Dave Inglesby. It's been a while for me. Super busy. Can't wait. Well, good to have you, man. Let's see. Yeah, Rabbit said no audio. For once, I shut my mic off before I went on live and forgot to turn it on. So we had to redo the first minute, but that's okay. I was talking to myself. Gabriel Budish the third. What's up, brother? Good show coming right up. Thanks, Rock. No problem, man. I have a red dot on my VR80. Yeah. What better sight to put on there? I'm running that Holosun. Oh, what is it? CR10? I can't remember now. I only have 8 of them. Literally, I have 8 of them. I use them on shotguns, rifles, you name it, AKs, ARs. I've got it across the board on just about everything. Great unit. It's such a big screen or big optic panel. You pick it up quick. You can do the dot within a circle or just the circle or just the dot. I've even got one on a Scorpion in Flat Dark Earth with a green reticle. Just super nice. They shut off by themselves. They run on solar. Great stuff. You can set them to adjust brightness automatically. Great stuff. You want to we're looking for an optic or a red dot for your AK? Not a bad choice. There's a lot of good red dots out there now. Even the cheap stuff is good these days, guys. If you noticed in that video I did on the VR80, I put an old school, the model, 12, the old long EOTech. And that's one of the originals from like 15, 20 years ago that they got into an issue with the Army or somebody. There were some issues where they went bad and they sent me a recall and everything. I never sent it back. And now once in a while, the thing will go in and out of power. Yeah, and I know it's a spring sometimes, and I've replaced the cap, but it's something in the computerized portion of it. And one of these days I'll send it back or just get a new one. But I like running it. It's old school. It looks kind of cool. I used to have it on my, speaking of accessories, I took our Krebs rifle and did a whole Zenitko theme, Spetsnaz alpha build. And back in the day, well, even now, you used to see a lot of Spetsnaz rifles all done with the old school EOTech. That was like standard equipment for those alpha rifles. So I like putting it on that. But we've replaced it with a variable optic now on there just because that gun's so nice and it works so well with a variable optic. So that's what we've been running. Let's see here. I started to say on Rabbit Hole Reviews 545. I went on 28EDU's live stream the other night, and I gave them a super chat of 762. Obviously, I stuck with that with my AKs. 545 to me didn't really, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. And I thought, all new mags and more ammo and this and that. And then when I had a feeling the ammo ban was coming, I did get the 223 556 AK. And now look, I'm having problems. But yeah, 545 falls down the list a little bit for me. That's all. But it's certainly appreciated, sir. Thank you. So check out Rabbit Hole Reviews channel. Pretty cool. Um, MZ, I missed last week's problems. What's with the Sam 5? They're beating themselves to death, basically. It messed up the rear trunnion. The bolt is pretty much shot from hammering the back. It's ovaled out it so bad. It's just way overgassed. The thing is way overgassed, as are all of them. And mine's not the only one. I heard it from someone else and I looked, I thought, nah, this guy's nuts. And holy cow, with the few rounds I have through that thing, I cannot believe how hammered that thing is. And some guys are like, well, put a buffer in there, put a rubber buffer in there. Guys, if it needs a buffer, something's wrong with the gun. Yeah. And this thing now, I mean, it's got somewhere between 200 and 400 rounds, and the thing is just beat. I mean, the end of the bolt is ovaled out. I'm waiting for it to cause the firing pin to stick and have the thing slam firing on me. So check out your Sam 5s. Look at the back of the bolt, the back of the carrier, and the rear trunnion. And I will bet you dollars for donuts the thing's beating itself to death. So check it out. Haven't called Arsenal yet. I'm sure they'll do the right thing. We'll see. But who knows? A couple guys said they called and didn't get a call back. You need to do a fishing video, Rock. I will, Squeak. Squeaky's here. Squeaky's here every week. We love Squeaky Cooler. Think about that, guys. Squeaky Cooler. Is that one of those things like you're out camping and it's late night, everybody's in their tent or whatever, and you're out by the campfire, and you're that guy that stays up later than anybody and is partying, having one more beer, and you got to open the cooler, and everybody in the tent goes, that's enough, go to bed, right? That's probably Squeaky Cooler, right? I don't know. But screw them. You got to have another beer, sit around the campfire, and fall asleep in your chair and wake up covered in dew. That was me. That was my life. Yes, it was. Brother. A lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. Let's see. Did an unboxing video of a Zastava M90 on my channel. I'm picking up another one next week. You guys saw that shoot I did with Zastava. I think actually I was the first one to do a review on it. Cool gun. Cool gun. Hey, if the Sam 5 had an adjustable gas system, we wouldn't be talking about that right now, would we? Anyone see TFB's video on the new Zastava M19 MCS? Looks like a cross between an AK and a SCAR. I was drooling. I haven't, maybe I did see it. I don't think so, though. I love TFB. I love those videos. I think he's hilarious and just a cool channel. Check him out. Chase saw it. Very eye-opening. James had a blast. Yeah, I love James. I'm going to get some shorts like him. What do you guys think? Do some videos and some James Reeves shorts. The only guy that goes to Clint Smith's Thunder Ranch wearing shorts and knee pads. I can't believe Clint doesn't make jokes about him in his shorts and knee pads. Just went over real quick and subscribe to your channel. Cool. See, Rabbit, you're getting some good stuff up here. K-Raj talked with Arsenal, and the guy said they are talk. What? They are talk. Oops, didn't get it in there. Let us know, K-Raj, what you said. Oh, here, I talked with Arsenal, and they are talking with Arsenal of Bulgaria to figure out a solution. Guy on the phone knew nothing about guns, but he said they had a meeting, said a new spring was discussed. Well, we're going to talk about new springs today in our accessory thing. So let's get into it, okay? That's who's in here so far. So let's get into it. So you get into the AK hobby, you go to the range, You got your Palmetto State AR, right? And you see these really badass guys, man, just shooting these AKs and they look cool and everything. And you think, man, I wish I was that guy. So you figure you go to a gun shop and you get an AK and you'll be as cool as The Rock or any of those guys, just be a badass and you buy it. You find out that it won't quite get you there, but you've got a really cool gun, right? I'm just kidding, guys. So I guess where it starts, everybody wants to replace furniture and grips and get an optic and, oh, I'm going to put a cheese grater on there and all kinds of cool stuff. And I need a light and side rails and muzzle brakes and all this stuff. Guys, before you do anything, a couple things you got to get, right? Number one, first and foremost, is familiarize yourself with the platform. Watch some videos. If you guys are used to AR-15s and other rifles of the sort where everything's precision, everything's just perfect and so, well, the AK platform might not be for you because these are hammered together in communist factories. They are military guns, and the fit and finish may not be up to par with what you're used to. And you're going to get it and open the box and you go, oh my God, I got to take this thing back. Look, it's got a scuff and a scratch. And oh my God, the sights are off. What's going on? And it's canted a little bit. And oh, this thing's junk. And you hear all those videos and comments and stuff. And they've gotten a lot better over the years. So a lot of it has gone away. Still, pull a washer out, you're still going to have some issues here and there. And look, an Arsenal has problems. Yugos, they all can get a little wonky once in a while, but you got to understand what's being within specs is for these guns. So that front sight obviously is adjustable. And what's in spec for it? Well, if you can adjust that front sight all the way to the right and it's all the way over and it's right next to the ear of the front sight, and it may bug the hell out of you, but guess what? It's on target and it's still within spec. So yeah, is it right? Does it look right? Is it annoying? Maybe, but that's just how they are sometimes. Not all the time. And I would say of all the AKs I've got, I've unpinned and repinned one front sight block out of dozens of rifles, and a couple are adjusted over just a hair, but in general, they're not too bad. This is a Tapco, and I've had it for years and years. There's a version that's really nice. It's big, it's robust, it's large, so it's easy to handle if you got big hands. Go over to Rob Ski's channel and go to his store, and he sells them. I can't remember the name of them. Someone will remember here. They're nice if you want to spend the extra money, and they might last a little longer. However, this Tapco one, which is a lot like any of them out there, I've had this one, oh God, I bet 20 plus years, and it's still going. It's got the front little divot here for adjusting the front sight post up and down. And then this portion is what drifts the sight pin over. So this opening here obviously has to fit over the pin. Now that the barrel that goes that you're moving is a little smaller than that diameter there. And if it's flush on both sides, you're going to have to make sure that thing's around the circumference of it. You don't want to have it where that barrel, when you crank down, is going to hit here. And by barrel, I mean the little sight barrel that slides over. You want to make sure it's going to come out right through that hole when it moves, or you're fighting against yourself and you will break one of these. But what you do is, and they always stick out just enough where you can usually put it over the front sight and kind of wiggle it, and you'll feel it lock in around it. Then just snug this up on the other side of it. And as you snug it up, this will start to rotate. Well, I allow it to rotate till it hits the front sight block and stays there, and then crank it down. and it's going to move it over. That's a friction fit in there. Some are tighter than others. Some can be really loose, frankly, and that's not a good thing. But if they've been in there forever, you may have to give it a little muscle with this baby. But I've never had to get another tool on here to crank it. If you do, yeah, you might want to throw a little something on there to help it move. There's no precise way of doing it. There's not so many clicks. You're just it's by feel. You're cranking it down, and all of a sudden you'll feel it give and move a little bit. And if you only needed a little movement, well, shoot a couple rounds, see where it's at. If it still needs more, crank it. And if you overdo it, you can always go back a little bit. Just flip it around to the other side and push it back a little bit. But first and foremost is you want one of these tools, because before you put optics on it, before you put anything, you want to know how the gun shoots, make sure everything's operating fine and perfect. And even if you are putting an optic on, you want those iron sights on, right, guys? Look at that. EOTech went dead the other day, and thank God I had those sights on there. You never want to be without iron sights. I know these red dots are getting better and better, and I've got one rifle I think that I don't have backup irons on, and I made that decision just because of how things fit on the rail. And I know one day it's going to come bite me in the butt, but get yourself a tool. These are dirt cheap. I don't know if there's cheap. I'm sure there's cheap Chinesium versions of them, but this has Tapco on it. I don't know if they made it or if they just imported them and put their name on them, but it's held up. It's die cast too. I can see the cast line, so it's held up. You're never putting that huge pressure on them. If you're worried about scratching your front sight, you can put something over it, a little cloth or something. But come on, guys, it's an AK. Other than that, they work great. That other one's like an Inner Dynamics, or I can't remember the one Rob talks about. And if you look on this, let's see, you see the little cutout right here and right here? That's where it goes over, where when it meets up with the sight block, so it can kind of lock in there real nice and it's not moving all over the place. Put it on there, experiment with it before you crank it down, just see how it fits, and you'll see how it works. It's real basic, real easy. Get yourself one of these. I bet this can be had for $10. I don't know, $15 maybe. Second thing you want to get, and most will probably, well, I shouldn't say that. Back in the day, all of them came with it, except for underfolders, but even then they were usually in the box. Today, I know Arsenals still come with them. I don't know about Wassers and the other ones, but get yourself an AK cleaning kit. This happens to be a Bulgarian one, and you can tell the difference if you study them. There's forums out there that show all of them and show the differences between them, and they're all pretty much the same, but there are slight variations. There's also some cool videos on there on YouTube with like 110 things you can do with an AK cleaning kit, because you'll notice there's a hole in this goes on and then twists and locks on. Inside are your tools. There's a jag and a patch pusher, and this will screw on your cleaning rod, which, today not all rifles come with cleaning rods anymore. Now look, you want to talk about com block manufacturing? Look at that. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but from here to here, this thing is bent up like 5 degrees. Yeah. Look at that there. You can see. I mean, yeah, that's just how they do stuff. So before I ran that down my barrel, I'd probably want to straighten it out. But what else is in here? There's a little pin pusher, right? You can do all kinds of stuff with this. You can push pins out. You can align things. You can dig stuff out. You can all kinds of good stuff. Clean out firing pin holes. Yeah, so it comes with that. And then there is what I call the key. And you got a flat bladed screwdriver over here. You've got a notch. You've got the sight adjusting ears here. And I'll show you what else this does. And then, oop, it fell out of there. You've got a brush. Cleaning brush goes on there. Where the heck did that thing go that just fell out? I lost it. And it was an extra thing I put in there. I remember. Now I don't remember why I put it in there or where it went now. And it's in the carpet here somewhere. I'll have to find it later. But anyhow, so your cleaning rod can go through this, and this can act as a muzzle protector. You see in the case itself, there's all kinds of different holes and slots and other holes and all kinds of stuff. So you can do a lot with this baby. Number one, you can put this in your gas tube lever. You can put it, the ear on the lever in there, and use this for leverage to crank it up. You can put the screwdriver blade through here like so, and make it a handle for the screwdriver. So now you can turn it. There's all kinds of stuff, guys. If I showed you all of them, I don't even remember all of them, but yeah, there's a ton of things that you can hook up, push through, all kinds of things. The cleaning rod will go through it. 101 uses. If I did a video on it, I would be copying other guys' videos. So I don't know if I should do one or not, but it's really neat. And some of them, I'm guessing, are legit. They probably teach in the Russian army. Others are probably made up, or things that guys figured out just how to do stuff with them. So get yourself one of these. It's great to have at the range with you for a quickie adjustment, repair, cleaning, whatever. I've used them 100 times, different stuff, so they're great to have with you. Just throw in your box, or if you've got a solid stock, there's usually a port in there that they'll go into. The Wassers no longer come with that port. It's just a flat butt plate. Z-Peps, same thing. And plus you get the bolt on those, but whatever. They're a good thing to have, and they're dirt cheap. You can find them online for dirt. The next thing to get, and I've only used it a couple times, but it's one of those things that's a range day saver. So if you're like a lot of folks, your time is important. You don't get a lot of it to yourself. And when you do get out to the range, it's usually a planned event and maybe a long ride, and you're looking forward to it. And you get there, and this happens, half a mag in, and your whole day is destroyed. With this tool, you save the day. So this is a broken case extractor. So if you've ever had a case separation, they usually separate right at the web. Steel case, it can happen. I just had it happen on brass cases on the Sam 5, and I knew then that something was up with the rifle. I've other than one steel case head separation on some surplus ammo on 7.62, I've never had a case head separation happen ever until that Sam 5. And that's when I took a better look and went, I better take a closer look at this. Dixie Livin is here. What a great show again. Thank you, Rock. No problem. Thank you. And thanks for the super chat. 1999. Appreciate it. It guys, that it all goes to help the channel, and it all goes to help bring you stuff like this and like this. So it's real easy to use. This inserts in, and you crank it down, and it grips the inside of that case, and you pull it out. And without it, that might be stuck in there, and you might not be able to continue shooting, and your whole range day is done. Sure, sometimes you can get a cleaning rod in there and pound it out, but this is the proper way to do it. Again, these are dirt cheap. I got these off of the marketplace on AK Files, and One guy on there sells all this stuff. You can get cleaning kits from just about any country, sight adjustment tools, these things. I think he had a special like a cleaning kit, one of these, a sight adjustment tool, and something else for like $11 or something. An oil bottle. He's got all kinds of unique ones. If you collect those, guys even collect the oil bottles because there's a ton of them. God, Chinese oil bottles alone, I bet I have 20 different kinds. I like the cheap plastic looking ones with the Chinese Communist star on there. They're kind of cool. That's the one I rock on my Bakelite side folder. I've got a matter of fact. Oh, I thought it was here. I must have put it somewhere else. But my chest rig for it has all my Chinese mags in it, and the Chinese Bakelite mags, and then the oil bottle pouch holds that. And just cool. It's cool to have all the accessories and set it up, display it. When you show friends, you got all the neat accessories for it. Um, so if you get yourself a cleaning kit, a case head extractor, and a sight adjustment tool, you are in biz. There's not much can stop you at the range if you have these three things to begin with. And again, a lot of you guys been doing this a while, probably have them, but I'll bet even a ton of the guys that have been doing it a long time probably don't have a case head extractor. I think literally $3, and you know what? Here's something I'm not familiar with. I don't know if there's I bet this works for both calibers. Just looking at it, I bet it works for 5.45 and 7.62. I'll have to try it and see. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen um, caliber specific ones. But looking at the size of it, it might be a little large for 5.45. I don't know, but we'll see. We will see. Yeah, the case head will come out and it'll leave the rest of the shell down in there, and it's usually stuck pretty good in that chamber. It's almost sometimes you'll think it's welded to the side because if you're shooting lacquer ammo, maybe, or that chamber is dirty, boy, it sure will seem like it's welded in there. And you don't want to take a cleaning rod and try and catch the edge of it and then pound it out. Take a risk at goofing up your chamber or barrel. So it's always good to have one of these. Those three things, like I said, and you are golden. Nothing can stop you there. Once you got those, make sure you got a ton of mags. Whether you're going to get steel surplus mags, Eastern European, whatever country you go, bolt hold opens, Romanian, whatever. Make sure they fit in your gun. Most guns today, I can't think of a single gun, Yugo, Bulgarian, Chinese, Israeli, East German, Russian, Romanian. I don't think I have a single mag that will not work in all my guns. I may have one mag that's too tight on one of them. I can't remember which, but whatever you can pick up, whatever you can find cheap. For range mags, I use everything from Tapco to Magpul to Comblock. Most of the time you'll see me shooting Bulgarian waffle mags. I just like them. They're my favorite. There's drums out there. There's Romanian there's Romanian / Chinese drums. If you guys don't know the story on that one, all those open back, wind up, backloading drums that say made in Romania on the key. Yeah, they're not made in Romania. They're all made in China. A couple guys went to jail over that one years ago. They knew about the Chinese import law when they banned the rifles and all, and they had all these drums cheap. And what better way than to fly a plane load of them over to Romania and paint made in Romania on it and then sell them. Well, they got caught. It was kind of like, what's that movie where they repackaged the AK ammo? I love that novel. Not Dogs of War. War Dogs. I don't know. Hilarious movie if you haven't seen it. and they would have been just fine had they taken care of their guy at the shipping company for like 300 bucks. They would have walked away with bazillions, and instead they went to prison for a long time. But it's a great movie. It's based on a true story. It's hilarious. Love it, love it, love it. So get yourself some mags, whether you find a bunch of Tapcos at a gun show for $5 a piece. People laugh at Tapcos. I've never broken one ever, and I've used them. I've beaten a snot out of them. Yeah, they may look like crap. Actually, I'm looking at my mini Draco here, and they look great on that gun for whatever reason. It just makes it look cool. So get yourself a bunch of mags. You know, mags in itself, like oil bottles, can be collectible. Get yourself some Bakelites. Here's a 40-round Bakelite. These ain't cheap anymore, boy. Holy moly. I can sell this and buy a damn rifle for the price of these things. They're damn near, or could have bought a rifle, I guess, for what these are worth now, back a few years ago. But yeah, plenty of mags. Can't go wrong. Then you want to get something to load those mags. There's some speed loaders. I'll bring it. I should have brought it down, but I've got these zip loaders where the mag. I showed them in a video. Trying to think which one now. Might have been. No, I don't know. Anyways, it's a board. It's routed out. You've seen them made out of wood or polymer, but the mag lays in there. You line the shells up, and there's a block, and you zip them right in. Guys, $40. There's no way better to load these mags fast than that. You can just dump the boxes of ammo in there, slide them all in, and zip, and they'll do. Although I think they will do 40 rounders in there, 30s for sure. And the only mags that I found haven't fit in there were my Chinese Bakelite mags. Russian Bakes fit in there. Everything else fits. They make them for ARs too. Pretty cool. So now you got all your good range stuff ready. So now it's time to have fun. If you've got an AKM, especially an AKM pattern rifle, there's pretty much nothing stopping you from outfitting that rifle exactly how you want it. And Rob Ski says it best. Forget about what you may think is cool or trendy or all the stuff you see on different videos. Maybe Rob Ski's using something, or maybe I'm using something, or maybe who's I say new guy. He is a new guy to me. He's become quite the AK. He shoots a lot of 3-gun. I can't remember his name. Someone will come up with it on here. You might see him shooting something. And hey, maybe it's great stuff. Maybe he's fast with it. Maybe he likes it. Maybe you try it. It's crap. It doesn't fit you. Doesn't work with your style. Whatever the case may be, don't just rely on what everybody else is pushing out there. And don't make your rifle look like a Robski clone or a Rockford Ordnance clone or whatever. Make it yours. What fits your style? And there's nothing wrong. Nobody's going to laugh at you. I mean, Rob Ski to this day wraps his grip in tennis racket tape, and he loves it. It's what fits him, right? Not my bag, and I changed the grip out, and I've got a certain grip I love. I shoot almost exclusively Magpul K grips, and not the rubberized one, not the K plus. I hate those. They took a great grip, the regular K, and destroyed it with the rubber, in my opinion. I like that hard grip, and it's got sharp, just perfectly sharp diamond patterns on there, and I love those grips. I can leverage the rifle real nice because they've got just enough angle, and they're straight enough where it doesn't hurt my wrist, especially if you're bench shooting or shooting prone or anything. Just the angle is perfect on them. I use them even on my ARs. I use them on everything. They're my go-to grip. And guys may say, well, it's just a Magpul. Why doesn't he do this? Or why does he use a Tango Down or whatever? Because I don't like them. It's not that they're bad products. I don't like them. They don't work for me. Find what works for you. And at the end of the day, it may cost you a little money. Like last week, you guys saw my Box O grips. Yeah, I mean, I've gone through a ton of things to get the knowledge I try to pass on to you. Clayco, yeah. Clayco's always doing something, adding something. Yeah, Clayco may not work for you. There's certain things I'll tell you are must haves here. Just do this, forget all the rest. And there's other things I'll tell you, do your style. And it doesn't matter what your gun looks like. If you like beat up wood, use beat up wood. If you want to wrap tape around it, wrap tape around it. It doesn't matter. When it comes to a fighting rifle, and I'm not talking about a safe queen, guys. When it comes to a fighting rifle, make it fit you perfectly, where that gun goes to the same spot every single time without thinking. You can close your eyes, put that gun up, open your eyes, and the sights are right there. That's how you want your gun set up. Set the gun up to you. Don't change you or your shooting stance or position to fit a rifle. Make the rifle fit you. Guys will say, "Oh, well, you should leave it alone. Leave the wood on. Yeah, rifle fine." No, no. There's a reason ARs come with adjustable stocks, right? And all that to make it fit different shooters. The rifle that fits me and works for me fine is not going to be the same rifle that fits Forestel or 7.62 or Squeaky Cooler. Everyone's is going to be a little different. So make it work for you. If you like a stock grip, run a stock grip. Whatever you do, don't run the stock Zastava ZPAP wood grip. Holy cow. Unless you like broomsticks. Maybe you do like broomsticks. I don't know. If you like a broomstick, keep that grip. Guys, that's the worst grip ever put on an AK. Oh my God. It's literally, that's why I call it the broomstick. That's horrible. So smooth. It's just round. Ugh. Ugh. I don't know why I haven't taken it off yet, simply because I like the flame maple and it matches. And frankly, I don't shoot my ZPAP all that much. I got it because I got it, but I still shoot. Oh, can you guys see that back there? Oh, what's that? That's an M70 underfolder. That's a AB2, one of the original ones from 15 years ago. Still chugging, baby. Yeah, they used to make fun of me for that in the day. What are you shooting that Century junk for? Well, if you know anything, they weren't made by Century. I tell it all the time, but they were subbed out. They're great rifles. And when they came out, a couple of years ago with a new batch, everyone's, what's an M70 AB2? And all of a sudden, man, these are great rifles. And they're going for ridiculous money. 15 years ago, guys were laughing at those rifles. What a joke. What a pile of crap and this and that. Well, there it is, still chugging along. So, what do you do next? Well, but you want to make it comfortable for you. You want to make it yours, but you want to make sure it's reliable. You want to make sure that the rifle will last. So, let's say you bought a good, it can be any AK, but let's say you bought a good import, solid import, and it's going to be a decent gun. You can do a couple things, and I did this on all my Yugos. Simply because everybody was having a coronary back in the day and I followed the crowd, but this was a good thing, I guess. So back in the day, everyone said, oh my God, NPAPs are garbage. They're cracking receivers left and right and they're horrible guns and this and that. Well, my gun that has the most rounds through it of any AK is my NPAP, and it hasn't cracked, and neither has my AB2, and neither is 7 or 8 other ones. And I ran them with the stock springs forever, and they did just fine. And Yugo guns were known to have like the lightest recoil springs on the planet. And originally, guys like me thought that, well, that's because what was coming in, some were Century kit guns, and they were put together out of military kits. Others, back in the day, you always got the reports of, well, they're subpar rifles. They're building them from used or leftover or seconds parts that they couldn't put on military rifles. So you're getting the crappy springs and those trunnions aren't good enough. There was all this crazy talk, right? It takes more for a factory to switch over to do something for the civilian market that they don't do for the military. It takes more energy and money to switch over than it does to just build the same damn rifle. Anyhow, Yugo rifles were known to have super soft recoil springs, but that's why I loved them. Like on that M70 back here, it's the smooth that gun I will put up against any milled rifle, any milled. Um, take your finest Chinese milled rifle, any Sam, that gun run is smoother. The bolt operates smoother, everything. It's like glass, probably because it has 82 bazillion rounds through it. But um, anyhow, when they started talking about cracking receivers and all, I thought, well, it's not a bad protection and it's got a ton of rounds and God knows how many it had on the kit when it was a military gun. So I went and got ALG springs for everything, all my Yugo guns. It started out just my Yugo guns. So looks like a regular old recoil spring, right? Except for the center portion right here. And you see that where it's the springs are closer. And it changes the harmonics of things, makes it a little smoother. But this spring is stiffer than a standard spring. It's a heavy spring, is how they refer to it. And it does a couple things. It slows that bolt down. Maybe you got a gun that's slightly overgassed. And guys, again, all AKs are overgassed. That's what makes them so reliable. That thing will slam through anything, right? But it could, if you got a gun that's maybe just tapping the back, it may help there. But it also brings that carrier forward quicker. It does a couple things. It stops bolt bounce. If you're having an issue with that, which I think that's a way overblown thing unless you're into shooting full auto guns or something. Semis, it really doesn't matter. I've never had an issue with it. But it does make the gun operate a little faster. So if you are one of these speed demons and you're doing your Clayco drills, trying to be Dr. Clayco every week, you may want to throw one of these in. If a spring wears out, throw an ALG in. They work great. I've run them now for years. I don't know. Go back and see when I did the video on this. It was years and years ago. They work great. I don't like the fact that it stiffened up this is the spring out of that one actually, that it stiffened it up so much because it is just as smooth, but it doesn't seem just like the butter it was with the stock one. And my NPAP, who knows, would it have cracked had I continued running the stock one? Maybe. I kind of doubt it, but anyhow, it's some protection. If you got a worn out one or you got an old kit gun or something and you want to put a new spring, throw one of these in. It will make the gun a bit faster. If you're new with it, with the platform, you're not going to be that fast to begin with, but at the end of the day, it'll do both for you. So it covers both. That's a cheap investment. I don't remember what those were, 15, 20 bucks, 10 bucks, but cheap investment. If it's a brand new factory gun, just run the spring. But if you've got a Yugo, I'd probably put it in there if that spring feels super soft. I don't know if they make one for the 5.56 guns or if it runs the same. I'll have to look. But that may be a decent solution. Sounds like Arsenal's going that way. Well, they may replace the spring, but they got to replace a bunch of other parts too that are now pounded to hell. But we'll get into that once I talk to them. And I'm sure they'll take care of it. They're great guys over there. Everybody has a little screw up once in a while. But yeah, it's a good way to go. And you save your equipment, make it a little more reliable. Don't let it beat itself up, that kind of thing. And it's cheap. So now comes the fun part, right? You want to make it look cool and you want all that hot rod stuff on there and you want to look like some high-speed operator out there and you want to get all the cool stuff. So what is the cool stuff? Well, cool stuff's only cool if it works, right? You can strap all kinds of crap on there and you do nothing but make the gun heavier and maybe it doesn't work all that well. And one of those areas are muzzle brakes, right? There's a million of them out there. And you can get cheap Chinesium right off of Amazon, by the way. I wonder if Amazon even knows they're selling them because I'm sure it'd be against their policy. But If you go on there and look, they're selling all kinds of stuff that is probably against their policies. But I don't know if they just don't catch them or what. But there's a million brakes out there, from dirt cheap and manufactured that way. Maybe I swear they just machine something and mass produce it, and it's never tested. They don't know if it works. Don't know if it reduces recoil. Don't know if it reduces muzzle climb. Don't know if it stops flash. They just make them and ship them over here by the Chinese boatload and sell them for $10 a piece or $5 at a gun show. And the new guy goes in and says, "Oh, wow, look, I got this new badass muzzle brake that looks like a shark's tooth door knocker." You guys have all seen these crazy brakes, right? First and foremost, if you're lucky enough to have the gun come with a slant brake as opposed to a muzzle nut, uh, like your Z-Paps come with a slant brake, right? I think they do. I don't think I put that one on. Maybe I did. I don't know. A lot of the Vepers came with muzzle nuts, stuff like that. One of the best solutions on the planet is a plain old slant brake, or sometimes referred to as a sugar scoop. Guys, don't be wasting money and thinking some new $100 brake is going to change your world, because it's not. And for the money, because you can get a handful of them for $10, are slant brakes. And some of them have 2 slots to adjust for right and left hand shooters. Make sure you got it the right way. Just realize how the gas is flowing and which way the AK barrel, if you're a right-hander, is going to rise up and to the right. So how would you adjust that scoop to push the gas to keep it down and left, right? But you can't beat them. They are, like everything Russians do, they are utilitarian, they're cheap, and they get the biggest bang for the buck. And that's the slant brake. Don't ever let anyone tell you that's not a great brake, because it is, or compensator, or whatever you want to say it is. I won't say it's a brake. It's not. It's a compensator. But again, like Clint from Thunder Ranch says, if you want to tame the magnificent recoil of the 7.62 by 39, really, guys? 7.62 by 39 is not a harsh recoiling firearm by any stretch of the imagination. So don't worry about it. It's more, to me, it's not so much reducing recoil as it is keeping that barrel in the same place. That's what you want. That's what makes for quick shots, quick follow-up shots, keeps your optic or your sights on target. All of that keeps you returning quicker. Sure, muzzle brake, it's nice. There's a lot of combo stuff out there. There's some that are flash hiders / compensators, or flash hiders / brakes. If they're combos, they probably do neither very well. If you want a flash hider, get a flash hider. If you want a compensator, get a compensator. If you want a brake, get a brake. There's very few that do both well. They may do both fair to good, but you're not going to get the best of both worlds. Just not going to happen. There's some that come close, and that's this one right here. This is a Meridian Defense. And back when these first got popular, Meridian wasn't what Meridian is now. Meridian's really a cool company now. But these things, I've literally tested these. Watch any of my NPAP videos. Pick one. Just, if you see an NPAP on the thumbnail, watch the video. And watch this gun and watch the barrel. It does not move. It doesn't move. It just stays there. Just ba 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 ba. Doesn't move. The great thing why I love this, it's never been touted by all the super high speed guys, none of that, but it's inexpensive and you get the most bang for your buck for a little bit of money. These are in the $50, $60 range. They're a 2-port brake. They do have ports on the top to help compensate and keep things down. They're beautifully machined. They come packaged well in these little tubes and foam and everything. They're beautifully finished. They clean up exceptionally well. this thing, they're nitrided, and this thing had a ton of copper fouling on it, all green and everything, and they clean right up, and they're beautifully finished. They're engraved with Meridian Defense here. It's hard to see right now, but they work great. They also make a 3-port brake. It does reduce recoil a hair more, but this is all you're going to need, the 2-port brake. I run this on so many guns. I probably have 10 of these things. And this is the one off of, what did I take this off of? Oh, this is off my NPAP. This thing's probably had 6,000 or 7,000 rounds through it. And look at it. It's like new. Whatever to break, though, it doesn't have to be this. I'm just saying this is a good one for the money. There's some high dollar ones here. I mean, you can get the kit from Krebs, and the muzzle brakes are separate, and they're made out of titanium, and they ain't cheap. That's pure titanium. It weighs nothing. But this itself is probably between $100 and $200 to fit the system. You can spend a lot of money, and will it work as well as the Krebs? I don't know. You can watch all kinds of tests. Just know that a lot of these tests, they're being done. I won't say guys are shills, but hey, remember, when they supply you with stuff, they expect outcomes a lot of times. So just take what they say with a grain of salt sometimes. You'll spend all kinds of money. You'll put one on. You'll go, huh. At first, you'll be like, oh, yeah, this is great. And then a week or two later, you get the range shooting going, is it really that much better? I don't know. And then maybe you take some video, and all of a sudden you see it didn't change anything. And you would have been just fine with a slant brake on it, right? So next thing I would do is a brake, because it's just going to make you shoot faster, better, probably more accurately, because it's keeping things where you want them, that type of thing. So I'd find a brake for it, or at least a slant brake. What next? Well, here's another choice too. And I would not do this. You see this, a lot of guys are running these on rifles, full 16-inch barrel length rifles, and they do it for the cool factor. But I don't think they realize what they're actually doing to the rifle. They're increasing back pressure. They're making the gun run dirtier. They're introducing more recoil to the gun, everything. This is the 4-piece Bulgarian flash hider. This is the real deal. This is Bulgarian. These used to be under $100, and now I see them going for $200, $400, $500. It's insane. If you can find an original Bulgarian at a decent price, fine, buy it. But guys, don't use it on a 16-inch rifle. Just don't. These were meant to introduce more back pressure on a pistol. That's what they were meant for. Now, there's nothing in the world that stops flash better than this thing. You get zero flash with these. Absolutely zero. Nothing better in the world, but I wouldn't use them on a rifle. I just wouldn't. This is off my Sam 7K. And if you don't, let's say you can't find an original Bulgarian for a decent price. Let's say they're all over $200, $300, $400, $500, ridiculous pricing. CNC Warrior makes a great one. It's a direct copy. There's no difference in it. The only thing, I do believe they're even chrome lined. I can tell them apart when I'm looking at them, but the Bulgarian one, you can see that dull silver. That's that hard chrome lining, just like the barrels, right? And this thing lasts forever. So why is it a 4-piece? If some of you guys may have seen these, some others have no idea. Why is it called a 4-piece? Don't you just screw it on? No. You screw it on, and they make them, you can use an adapter. You can maybe CNC makes one for the 14x1 reverse thread, but this is a right-hand thread for the 74 gas block. But it's a 4-piece because this cap screws off. That's one part. The base is another. The cone inside is part 3. And part 4, if I can get it to focus, there's a round wire ring that runs around the whole thing in a notch. And then it's got little tag ends that go up into that notch there, and another notch that goes down. And that keeps this from spinning off. So when you take them apart, you use a pick to pull the wire out, and then you can spin it off. I might be able to do it now and show you guys. But I don't want to scratch my $500 brake now. Or flash hider, I'm sorry. Yeah, when it was worth $100, I didn't give a shit. But now that's worth $400 or $500. I don't have a pick here to do it. But anyways, the end screws off, the cone comes out. And yeah, so the body, the cap, the cone, and the retainer wire are the 4 parts. And if you want 0 flash, this will give it to you. 0, absolutely 0. But it's going to increase your back pressure. I wouldn't put it on a rifle. I just wouldn't. Yeah, but a cool way to go. All kinds of cool stuff out there. The CNC Warrior, you want to do stock stuff like that. That's a great company to go to. Everything they build is magnificent. That's one company, and you got lots of choices there too. You want something side folder, you want adapters, you want this, you want that. They got it. Great prices. I can't believe they build what they do for the money they do. You can't. It's hard to go wrong there. When I tell you something like that, when I'm recommending one place, it's because I've used many of their products for a very long time, and I can say with all confidence that what you get out of that particular vendor will be top notch. Like Krebs, anything Krebs, just count on it. And that CNC Warrior is another one that you can count on for whatever you got. Next thing you probably want to go do is put some type of optic on it, right? And as long as you got a side rail, that's a fairly easy proposition. There's been all kinds of mounts and ways to mount optics that the AK communities and the vendors that supply it have come up with over the years, including governments, aftermarket, everything. But I still think the best way to do it, the best way would probably be a redesign of the rifle. But it is what it is, right? We're modernizing an antiquated platform. And I say antiquated in the nicest sense of the word. Guys, I love AKs, so don't take it like I'm saying, oh, Rock just shot down the whole thing, said it's a piece of junk. No, that's not what I said. This is the best way to probably do it. There's some that can mount to the sight block in place of the sight leaf. There's others that make new top covers. There's the Texas dogleg system. There's new gas tubes that have rails built into them. All great things, but you're changing a lot more than just adding, right? And if you have a side rail, the best way to do it is some type of mount that mounts to the side rail, and then this brings it over the bore, right? This happens to be the Zastava imported side rail. And it says Zastava on here somewhere. I know it does, or it used to. There it is. They laser inscribe Zastava on here, right? And I happened to get one. They did not give me this one. At one point, I think they were going to, and then they were back ordered for so long, and I can't remember where I got this. They don't make it. It's made for them by another manufacturer who I've got a pretty good idea who that is. But anyhow, it's a decent mount. except I think it's been made wrong. And the problem is when you slide it on, it grips well, everything. But although it's a full rail, it does not slide far enough forward on a ZPAP, an NPAP, any M70. And Yugos are a little different than everything else, right? This is a slightly different pattern than every other AKM or other AK on the market. Yugos are just different. So you need a Yugo specific one if you're doing a Yugo. The rest are all pretty much the same, whether it's Russian, Bulgarian, Polish, etc. But the problem with this is a Stava mount. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't. If you're planning on using a variable optic, a longer scope, this ain't going to work for you because it doesn't get far enough forward to give you enough eye relief to work right. You're going to be way back on the stock. Yeah, it's just weird. And the reason being, and I got a feeling, I don't know where they got this from or if somebody just decided that's how it should be. But the problem is this little ear right here hanging down. See that ear? It just came off it. There, I'm on it. It came off it. This ear at the back. So when you slide this on the mount, it stops the forward movement because it hits that little thing here. Now I'm going to machine that off and use it and see how it works. But the problem is it won't go far enough forward. I look at all my other mounts and they slide way further forward. First of all, I don't think it's gripping. I know it's not gripping on this entire block here. So the way these mount is a friction fit. There's always a lever, no matter what type it is, and that lever opens up, loosens this, and this is adjustable, by the way, on all of them. You push down on this block here, you push down on the block, and that exposes the screw here, and there's all different type of retention systems. Like this has this little, I'm trying to let you see here, this has this little doohickey you push down that enables you to turn this, and that gives you a rough adjustment as opposed to the fine adjustment, which is the actual closing of it. But anyhow, when this is slid all the way forward on the rifle, you're only gripping on about half of this block here. You're gripping half. So you're only getting the friction value of half of it. The rest is hanging off the back of the mount on the rifle. So you're not engaging the whole thing. Will it hold? Yeah, it holds. I haven't had it come loose, but it's not right. And you can't get it far enough because of this ear. You can't get it far enough forward. Does a couple things. Yeah, sure, you can use a red dot because a red dot can go here, 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 here. I found it's always best to go as far forward as you can with a red dot, at least up until like the end of the receiver or so, somewhere in there. I don't like to go further forward than that, but you certainly don't want it further back either. Yeah, it works, but I don't know where they came up with this because this is the way I would tell you guys to go. This is RS Regulate. Now, this is not a Yugo mount, but on the Yugo mounts, on none of them do they have a stop. The mount itself, the rail itself has a built-in stop, whether that's it machines wider as it goes on or there's a stop built into the front. You don't need a stop on that. So these are my go-to. And this is one of those companies I will tell you that are like a must-have. You know, Midwest Industry makes mounts. Zastava makes one. There's a million of them. There's Chinesium out there. Arsenal makes a really nice one. I use a lot of those. They're my second runner-up to these. But this is an RS Regulate. And they're a two-piece mount. So you get the base mount for the side. That's this here, right? And then you buy separate pieces, this piece that brings the optic over the receiver, right? And the reason they do separate ones is you can get ones that are individualized for each type of optic. For instance, this is made for a micro red dot, T1, and it includes the angle part that goes over and the mount. It's specific to a micro red dot. There's others that are specific to ACOGs. They also make one that is just a pick rail, a full length, half length. You can get them forward biased or rearward biased. This happens to be a rear bias. So this mounts on the left side of the gun, and you can see it's biased toward the back. It's angled toward the back. Why the back? Why do I want this so close? Because this goes on the SAM 7K, which has a iron sight welded to the top of the dust cover. So any other optic, if you went to put it on and slid it forward, this would hit that sight and you couldn't get it on. So this goes on just behind that sight, rear bias. There was front biased for putting in just a red dot on it up close. There's all kinds of mounts, and guys will say, well, now it's a two-piece and you're introducing fasteners, more bolts, things to come loose, go around this and that. Well, if you read the instructions and do it the right way, it's never going to come off. Why? Because you're not relying just on the bolts. There's holes drilled in here next to the bolts. And once you get it centered perfectly over your bore and everything's adjusted, you take it off and you drill through these factory holes in the top mount, through the bottom mount. And then it comes with little roll pins, and you tap the roll pins in. And then it's there forever. Not to mention, you are going to red Loctite or blue Loctite, whatever you prefer. I would red Loctite it because it's never going to go on another platform. When I do them, I have one for each. I don't switch between. You can Loctite them and pin them, and then they are perfect and never going anywhere, never coming loose, never coming off. Here's the lever for adjustment, for tightening. So you adjust it same way. You push in, you adjust this screw, and you want to adjust it so you start hitting tension about here, and the tension gets harder and harder and harder till it clips in. Because why? Because there's a ball bearing friction mount here on a spring. And guess what? You can even adjust the friction on these. These are high quality. Guys, this whole thing weighs nothing. Nothing. It's light as air. You want to do a lightweight optic, not increase the weight of your rifle. Do an RS Regulate mount and find a micro red dot. This one's actually an old style one, primary arms, that still has this. I like the push button ones they have up top with the solar panel, but these I must have got way back when they were dirt cheap. And let me see here. I think, yeah, there we go. Still works great, but they weigh more because of the knob and whatnot. Hard to beat primary arms too, guys. That's another manufacturer that I can tell you I have used no less than, let's see, how many am I? This is just what's sitting in front of me. And I'll tell you how many primary arms optics I have sitting in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus this one. And I have more. I have everything from variable power scopes to red dots to prism scopes to higher end gold and platinum series precision scopes with Japanese glass. They run the gamut. They have their silver, gold, and platinum series. I've used all three. And frankly, the silver series is probably more than any of you will ever need. If you get into their gold series is mind-boggling. And their platinum is just off the charts. And you can get their gold series for not a lot of money compared to most. I think their Gold Series is right up there, as good as or better than the stuff that compares to it in the Vortex lineup. Yeah, their red dots are phenomenal. I've used these. Uh, I've had all prism, red dot, and variable optics for at least 15 years. I've tested and used them, and their precision scopes going on 4 or 5 years now. But great stuff. And the RS Regulate mount too. Don't dick around with the other stuff. Get yourself RS Regulate and be done. If you come across an Arsenal SM13 or SM13V for Vepr, buy them. They're great too. They're heavier than these and bulkier, but they work great. The great thing about, forget about how good, how strong, how nice, how solid these RS Regulates are. The killer thing about these is it brings that optic down lower than any other mount, side mount you can get. It puts it right over the dust cover, and I mean right on it. Some of these you'll see, and they got room like this. Well, the higher over bore you are, the less accurate things are going to be. The closer to bore you get, the more accurate they're going to be. You want this thing to barely clear that dust cover. These also hold zero. I can take this thing on if properly adjusted, I can take this thing on and off 20 times and it holds zero, no problem. So for cleaning and all that, you don't have to worry about it. Don't anyone ever tell you that these don't hold zero. They do, magnificently. I'll do a video showing it if you want. Hard to beat. So optics, cover yourself with RS Regulate. There's a ton of good optics out there. Primary arms are great. I love the Holosun, the CR10. No, what is it? I'd have to grab one here. Oh, there's another primary arms. I don't have one here. You know which one I'm talking about. Anyhow, I've got Vortexes. Vortex is the only scope I've ever broke, and it broke out of the box as I was mounting it. That being said, I was able to mount it up and use it broken for the last 2-3 years, and use it to where it's not broken. It's a contact in one of the caps for the battery for the lighted reticle. And I was able to just place it on there and tighten the cap, and it's worked, but it has to go back if the soldering broke. And granted, it was on a 308 platform, so it takes quite a pounding. It's also their cheapest scope they make, but that kind of turned me off. And I love their ACS reticles on the primary arms and all. It's hard to beat for the money. Vortex I like. I've got a Night Force. Night Force is obviously great stuff. EOTech, love EOTechs. I use those. That goes without saying. EOTech is top of the line. I've got an EOTech Voodoo. Wow. Wow, what a scope. There's a lot of choices. That I'm not going to push you one way or another, other than to tell you, if you want good stuff for not a lot of money, try the primary arms. That covers your optics. Now you're going to want to make it all cool, right? You're going to want to, I don't know, you're going to want to throw a hand guard on it or something. This is a TDI Arms lower hand guard. It's got 2 small rails on it, mount a light or whatever you want. These do not have heat shields in them, but yet this material, it's not a rubber, it's not a polymer. Well, I guess it's a polymer, but it's a reinforced polymer. It's hard. And it's got a rail on the bottom too. But yet it's very much like a stock handguard. So it feels great. It's got room for your cleaning rod. These are phenomenal rails for not a lot of money. TDI Arms. Now, I have to say, they have sponsored the channel. They have sent me stuff, including this, and I have reviewed them. But it started out where I had bought no less than 4 of their handguards. They're one-piece billet aluminum lower handguards. that I have on Vepers, NPAP, Bulgarians, 3 Yugos, yeah, a bunch of them. And I used them. I loved them so much. When they came out with the Yugo one, I was so excited, so excited. They may need a little filing on those metal ones once in a while. I had one guy say he couldn't get it to fit. I don't know, guys. I've put a million of them on and off, and I don't think I've had to do any filing on them. But I've heard of people filing. They fit tight. They're not loose. They're light as hell. They've got M-lock. They're great. This new one, it's been out a year or so. They sent me this to, I think, before it even came out. But it works great. The only reason I wasn't using it is it didn't have the gas tube cover. Now I believe they offer it, but I ran it with a cheese grater. This is also TDI Arms grip. If you like that wide Vepper style grip or Russian grip, this is great. It's got a nice angle to it, so it really gives you that leverage. So with one arm or one hand on the rifle, if you're running and you need to really support that thing or drive it up or something like that, this gives it to you, and it's nice and wide. It's strong as hell. It doesn't have that much grip to it, but it's narrow enough here and wide enough here that you don't need it. It's your hand's not coming off it, and it's narrow enough here that you can get around it. So that kind of nullifies that whole deal. It's hollow, and there's a cap to it, so you can store stuff in it, and it's light as hell. On some very heavy rifles, especially rifles that we're running lights on or all kinds of other gadgetry, I'll go to these. This also is great on a Vepr 12. Anything heavy that you need, this is what I'd go to over and above the Magpul K grip. TDI Arm sells that. And I didn't plan on this to be me hawking TDI Arms, but again, it's just one of those products. Here's the cap that goes in the end. And I was wrong. It's not a storage cap, but the bolt goes through and it seals up the end real nice so you're not getting debris in there. That works real well. What else did they send me? Oh, there's another grip, and I have it. Unfortunately, it's on my Bulgarian SLR 107 FR triangle folder, and I run that TDI Arms grip on it, and it's got adjustable back straps on it. And man, I like that grip a lot. I love that grip, and it's been on that rifle since they sent these. They just sent these to me. I didn't even ask them to send stuff, and they said, try these out and let us know what you think. And if you want to do a video, you got our blessing. So I've shown them all, but I guess I should probably come back and give you my thoughts after using them for a couple of years, because that's how long we've used these things. And I can tell you all of it was a hit. The only thing that has some where I'll quantify it or qualify it is this grip. It's a great grip. You may love it. Like I said, just because I don't go with something or I go with something doesn't mean it's right for you as well. But this I use only on very front heavy guns because I've made up my mind on the K grip and or that other TDI Arms grip, which I wish I could show you right now, but we can't handle guns on the channel. On live stream, so I can't show it to you. What else did I bring down here to show you? Okay, so now you're going to put an optic on the gun, right? Now you may or may not need, especially on a scoped rifle, you may or may not need a way to raise the cheek or raise the stock, a cheek riser, right? Because you don't want to be doing a chin weld. That's my problem with the SAM-5. I can't find the right stock without changing out to a buffer tube stock, which I didn't want to do on that rifle. But you want to find something that lines up with your chosen optic. Now, red dots for the most part, even with whatever comes stock on a particular AK, will work just fine because they're so close to overbore. Others, you want that higher cheek rest. I don't have any I have a couple recommendations, but it's nothing where I'll say like some of these other things like, yes, go to use them, period. But I like Fab Defense. I like some of their M4 buffer tube stocks and cheek risers for the AK platform. There's one called a Core that's on my NPAP. That's a great stock. Adjustable. You can use it with or without a cheek riser. And the only reason I put it on was because I could get a cheek riser, and it's adjustable, and it's perfect for me. I'm trying to think. Yeah, for cheek risers, there's stuff out there, most of which you have to go to a M4 buffer tube style setup to get the right rise. So think that way. Buffer tube adapters, Rifle Dynamics is what I've used. I bought the first one and never looked back, kept using them. It was such a perfect, tight, without being over tight, just the slip fit was, you couldn't get any tighter. You couldn't machine the tolerances any more perfectly than they did on that thing. I mean, I actually had to move and wiggle and then until I just hit it where I was perfectly square this way, and it went shoo, and oh my God, there's no movement at all. I mean, they do a fabulous job. So I've stuck with those. I've used them consistently. Krebs makes nice ones. Pick what you want there. The only one I can recommend is that Fab Defense. And they make some other cool stuff too. That's a cool company to look at. Magpul, obviously. The Zukov stock, they make a riser for that. Might not be a bad choice. Yeah, on the handguards, I like the TDI arms a lot. I like, basically, I don't change them out much. If I need to run something or I want to go lightweight or whatever, I'll go to that TDI arms. Other than that, I pretty much run stock foregrips. I just do. Nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. The TDI arms, while wide open, it is billet. It'll heat up. There's enough venting that it won't get too hot, but I do wear gloves when I run it. Midwest Industries makes a lot of nice stuff that you can count on their quality always. Good Wisconsin-based company right here. There's a lot of good Wisconsin companies, guys. You'd be shocked at how much stuff is made in Wisconsin. But good stuff. Let's check in on the chat here and see what you guys got to say. Because after all, we like talking about what you want to talk about. Right? And that's what I always say. I got a sip of coffee here. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with you, Raj. That's what they're going to do. Probably a recoil spring. But in my opinion, they need to change the gas completely. I think they got the wrong port size on that thing. I mean, it's crazy. That thing, I've had it shoot brass 80 feet. I'm not kidding you. Paste it off. Crazy. Every time we'd be on the radio talking to someone out on the water, they would hear us going into our squeaky cooler, getting another refreshment. See, I knew it was that. Something like that. Or putting another salmon in the box. Yeah. So you must fish Lake Michigan, I would assume. Magnamatic, yes, that is the other side adjustment tool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Denny's plant-based journey checking in. What's up, man? Good to see you over here. He's always over at 28EDU too. He knows how good that channel is. Ross77 is here. Good to have you, man. MZ, hey Denny. Dixie Livin is here. I already talked about that. They sent over a super chat. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Let's see who else is here. It's good to have Denny back over here. He hasn't been over in a while. Like I hadn't been over to 2AEDU. Hey man, sometimes life gets in the way and we are busy, right? You guys have no idea how hard I worked Sunday and Monday. I am so sore and so exhausted. I look tired. I need a haircut too. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, thank God. But yeah, sometimes things get in the way. Denny, I need a cleaning rod for my latest AK. Yeah, what's the deal there? These companies for $2, they can't give you a damn cleaning rod. I mean, that's crazy. Wasser's even did it for a while. I think they give them to you now, but man, it's insane. Party like it's 1999. Yes, I remember that. Remember that New Year's? That was pretty cool. That song was everywhere. That was Prince, right? Wasn't it? Always great conversation info on the rock. Need better mags too. I have a mag pull that is super tight. So mag pulls, Danny, I'm sure you're probably aware, but all mags once in a while, especially, well, steel and polymer, maybe your gun's a little tight, or maybe the mags were a little large that day, whatever they were making. But I've had on a few occasions to file mags to make them fit. And one was, if you're familiar with a company called CS Spec, they make great mags. They're a custom manufacturer. They make weird mags. So they stuff that they make mags for, and phenomenal steel mags, 8-10 pounders, all steel, heavy duty. I mean, you got to run these things over with a truck. They made 308 Vepr mags, few, not just AK platform, other stuff too. Really, really high quality. And when you get those, he'll tell you you may need to file them, and he's got videos on it. There's one angle you need to file, and there's a special file you should use. It's just a one-way file. Not that you're always supposed to file one way, but I can't remember what they call it, the special file. Anyways, yeah, it's handy. You can always do a regular file, but I'll show you the angle you need to file here. And I'll show you on the, hold on, guys. I'm sorry I'm out of the picture, but I want to show you these one mags that I did it on. So here you go. These were the mags. They were Bulgarian waffle mags for the 5.56. And you can, so first of all, they were sloppy that day. There was polymer all over them. As you can see, these have metal lugs that are molded in. And you can see some of the black nylon over it there. It's still on there. The top is completely covered. That should be steel here, silver steel like that. See how it's covered? So they had a bunch of that on there, and they were tight, man. They just, you had to, or bam, get them, rock them in there, right? And even when I cleaned off all the polymer, they were still too tight. So the angle you want to do, let's see if I can show this right. So you've got the flat top angle, you've got the bottom angle, and then you've got this outer angle. And it's not a straight angle. It's angled in this way. And that's what you want to file. So you're going to go zip, zip, or zip, zip, however you're going to do it. And you want to hold that same angle. You don't want to change that angle at all. Do not change that angle. You're screwed. Keep that angle at the original angle and just file it down. So you're bringing it in like this. You're not bringing it in like this. You want to keep it at your same original angle and just bring it in. And you're doing 2-3 swipes at best and then trying it in there. Once it will go in, and the same holds true for steel mags, polymer mags, whatever. That's how you fit a mag in an AK. Once you get it to rock in, and maybe you're putting a little more pressure than you want, not talking crazy pressure, just a little bit. Once you get it to rock in with just a little bit of pressure, leave it alone. Don't go any further because they're going to wear in and they'll wear in quick, 1 or 2 range sessions. If you go further to make it butter, you'll be sorry later because you're going to get some rockage. Okay. Just take it from me. Trust me. Leave it a little tight. Let it wear. If it doesn't wear in, you can always take 1 or 2 swipes later, but don't screw up an expensive mag, or in the case of CS Spec, maybe $100, $150 mag, whatever the hell they're expensive, but they're beautiful, beautiful mags. But even the best cannot fit sometimes. And these, it was probably my gun rather than these mags because they make a hell of a lot more mags than they do guns, right? Maybe the gun was a little tight. The original one that came with it, the short one, locked in fine, and these were just, some almost wouldn't go, but a couple swipes and boom. Some I just had to take some of the nylon off of that was over it. But this was the only batch of Circle 10 waffle mags I ever got that had the nylon over the black. And there's a metal lug in the front too. That's what makes these so good. If you're going to use Magpul polymer mags in your AK, get the Gen 3 with the steel lips. They're harder to find lately, at least, or the last couple of years, I should say. But they make the same thing where you got a metal lug here and a metal lug here. Those are not going anywhere. They'll run fabulous forever. Although I've used the polymer lug ones too, and unless you're going to drop it out of a tree or run it over or something, they're going to last you too. But if you want a go-to-war mag, there you go. Get the ones with the steel lips on the Magpul as well. I think they're their Gen 3 AK mags, and they work great. They're a little more money, but you can't go wrong with them. Can't go wrong with Eastern European Comblock steel mags either. Yeah, they can be crushed, dented, and stop working. Again, Circle 10 waffles in 7.62, 5.45, 5.56. They're all great. And in my opinion, the best mags out there, although they're $50 now, even $60 sometimes. But sometimes you find a deal. I got those like a 10-pack through Arsenal, and they were under $500, I think. Can't go wrong there, but that's how you fit a mag. So if they're tight, you can try that. And that works on if you got a steel surplus mag too, you can fit them that way. Let's see. Yeah, so if that Magpul's super tight, give her a couple swipes with an old file. Keep the angle the same, and you'll be just fine, man. Squeaky Cooler Airrock, the old Wasser I recently picked up, came with one of those drums. Yeah, they work fine. The nice thing about the backloading drums is you can leave that spring loose. You can leave them loaded, but with the spring loose and not have to worry about the spring going bad until you need it. Then you can crank it up, and they work just fine. I've got backloaders. I've got old top loaders that work great too. I save those for my RPKs because they look cool in them. Got Romanian ones, and those work phenomenal too. I've never had a Russian, Romanian top loader or backloader that didn't work well. Just got to make sure they're not missing the links for them, the dummy links. And there's a guy making the dummy links now. 762 is here. Good to see you. Forrest L, C39 V2 and Zastava ZPAP for me. Everybody's got a choice. All good stuff. All good stuff. Kalash Bash was awesome. Was it? I hope you had a good time. One of these years, my schedule will coincide where I can make one of them. We'll see. You think I would have been there after all these years, right? I know Mark was there. Mark Krebs was there. Hope you guys got a chance to stop by and talk to him. Super cool guy. I've heard he can be a bit shy with people, but he never was with me. I love having conversations with Mark. Picking his brain is, oh man, and he's fun. He's just funny. He's a funny guy. He's awesome. I got to make some time for him. My life's been one crazy busy mess lately. Just an FYI for people, if you need or like sharp grip angles, Hub City Outdoors has copied the PKM Fat Grip. There you go. Magpul furniture is nice. Hey, Magpul has been around forever and ever, and all their stuff is nice. It's hard to go wrong with Magpul. Once in a while, you'll hear people bitch about them. I heard a guy saying, "Oh yeah, overpriced. They just get a couple shipping containers in from China, and their name's molded in it." Well, yeah, everybody goes to China half the time to have stuff made, right? But hey, it's all in the design, right, and what they're speccing, and it's all good stuff, man. I like Magpul drums. I've got AR Magpul drums, work phenomenal. Great stuff. Easy to load too. Yeah, Magpul's great. Their K grip is my go-to grip on everything. ARs, AKs, you name it. Yeah, I haven't watched any videos on Kalash Bash yet. Where are Joe and Tommy guns? I haven't seen Tommy in a couple weeks now, and Joe was here last week, but he's had a lot going on. Maybe just took a little break. Everybody needs a break once in a while. God, if you listen to me long enough like he does, you'd want a break too. Just ask my wife, man. Hattori Hanzo's here. Hey, were you over on 2A-EDU the other day, Friday? Because I just saw a blurb that somebody said, and I think it said either Hattori is spamming or Hanzo is spamming. I think it said Hattori is spamming. I wondered if it was you because I didn't see you. And then obviously they must have deleted the comments. But I don't know what you would have said that made him yank you, because you've never said anything bad over here that I know of. Or it was somebody else with a similar name, maybe. I don't know. Nothing's going on, man. I'm sure you got something going on. You always got something new, you and Tommy. We need Tommy here to tell us, what he's got lately. Forrest L. and checking in from Northwest Illinois. Where in Northwest Illinois, if you don't mind, maybe an area, I don't know. Because I spent 10 years, 15 years there. And I still spend time there because my kids are there. I ditched the slant brake on the M90, went with a flash hider. Not a bad way to go. Good flash hider. So the best flash hider, bar none. Like I said, if you're on a AK pistol, yeah, that's what you go with. The original is best, but CNC Warrior, because these have gotten so ridiculous, makes a real nice one, and they are chrome lined as well. That's a biggie. But if you want a 4-prong, and of all the flash hiders other than like a 4-piece like this, they're all gonna, you'll see some sparks here and there, right? Once in a while, depending on ammo and whatnot, or how it burns or whatever. Maybe you get a piece of something flies out. But the best I've found that make it, and I was told this by the maker originally, and I went, yeah, okay, whatever, until I tried it. These things are absolutely black. There is nothing. And he did, I can't remember, he'll kill me because I don't remember the exact number. It was like 25, 28, 32, somewhere right in there, prototypes, till he got it just right. And that was Krebs. He's got a 4-prong flash hider, makes it in every pattern you could want to fit an AR and AK, but they are black as night. They're not a lot of money. He also makes it as part of his muzzle system where you can, that's the one that this fits on and all, but you can get just the flash hider too. Yeah, go with it. The man knows AKs, right? In my opinion, he is the AK god. There's others that are good, others that are excellent, others that are icons, gods, right? Well, Mark's king of the gods. He's Zeus of AKs in my book. Nobody does it better. There's others that come close. 762, yeah, they are UTG mounts. Yes, they are. That's the company I was going to tell you. UTG makes a lot of Zastava's accessories, including their muzzle devices, and I don't know, they had a couple other things that they made for them. UTG makes nice stuff, guys. Don't think it's all Chinese stuff. They make their Pro line that's all made here in the U.S., and it's good stuff. They got this wrong. They got this wrong. I'm going to machine that sucker off, and I'll let you know how it works. I don't know why they would have put that on there other than someone not knowing the platform that well and looking at it and going, yeah, we need a way to stop this. Nope, that's not the way to do it. They also have a little slant pick rail here if you wanted to run, let's say, a scope up here and a red dot over here, or you can take it off and save the weight. Quality wise, it's fine. I just don't get why they put the stop on there, because it doesn't allow it to go far enough forward. So it's misdesigned, in my opinion. Yours may vary. Anyhow, yeah, you want a flash hider, go get a Krebs for 4-prong. Great stuff. And priced fairly. Not cheap, not expensive, fairly. UTG makes all their stuff. And I'm sure a lot of you guys got that here because I've said it since the first day I did the shoot with them. I got a few Yugo AK master mounts instead. So master mounts are great stuff. The only time to use those are if you're using their pin system, because you don't have a side rail. So if you're going to use their pin system with their side mount, that's a good way to go if you don't have a side mount. You just have to follow the instructions, and you have to tighten them correctly, or you can screw a lot of stuff up. You won't be happy, trust me. But they are good stuff. But no, nothing beats the RS Regulate. They are the top dog. I have never used the master mount, but thinking of trying it on a random barrel. A little anxious about using it. Why the anxiety? Robski sells both types of the master mount, super fast shipping. He does. Rob has the fastest shipping you will ever come across. His wife does a phenomenal job. I've ordered stuff and had it the next day. I'm not kidding you. It's like I ordered on a Saturday, it showed up Monday. I haven't been on Rob's site in a while, but I used to order a ton of crap there because I like giving the business back to YouTubers, and Rob was actually in my son's National Guard unit. They were in the same, when Rob was in Illinois, my son was in the Illinois National Guard, and they were in the same one. SM-13 mounts seem flimsy to me. No, they're not flimsy. They're just large. And they're one of only 2 mounts that'll fit a Vepr. You either got to get the RS Regulate Vepr mount or the Arsenal Vepr mount. Those are the only 2 that'll work on us. I should correct that. Side folding Vepr. Usually don't even have to take off the AK. Oh, it just jumped on me. Damn it. I hate when it does that. Shit. Now I got to go all the way back and find where I was. Oh, here. Usually don't even have to take off the AK scope mounts for cleaning. You can get the recoil spring and dust cover off. Yeah, but you want to get in there. I'm taking it, and you got solvent slopping around and all kinds of stuff. I'm taking them off. So if my mount won't hold 0, I don't want it. and the RS Regulate is the way to go in that case. They've been doing it longer than all of them. It's just top notch, and the lightweight. And I've done some nasty stuff to them with big optics on them, and never so much as even tweaked one. Uninstall. Yeah, you could. Absolutely. You can. And the Midwest Industries mount, those are decent mounts. They make really, really nice, high quality stuff. Anything I haven't used much on the AK platform, and for whatever reason, I just was always going a little higher end on AR stuff. But I had the opportunity to basically deck out a rifle in Midwest Industries, right? And because they're near an FFL that I do a lot of business with, and they have a store right at Midwest Industries. And obviously, I'm in Wisconsin, so I get over there quite a bit. And they've got some deal bins and stuff like that. And was in there one day and talking to the guy, and somebody there mentioned the channel. And oh, really? I talked to you for a minute. Yeah, just nice stuff. Hard to go wrong with them. Another company been around for a long time. The only thing I steer people away on the master mount thing is if they can't read directions. Because there's a lot of new guys that end up screwing those things up and affects their triggers and stuff like that. So just pay attention and don't over torque stuff. Oh, I'm sure everything's fine with Joe and Tommy. They'll be back. Yeah, I knew the squeaky cooler story was going to line up somewhere with mine. Fishing, camping, something like that. By the way, I still have the boat Dixie and Rock. We fish out of Oswego area on Lake Ontario. No, I've never been to Lake Ontario. Huh. King salmon? I love fishing kings. I used to nothing. So growing up in Chicago, you either knew somebody that had a boat on Lake Michigan, or knew somebody that had a boat set up for downriggers and everything. And or you do a once or twice a year charter boat pilgrimage, right? And I just hated when hey, we're going salmon fishing, and they pick some time of year where all you're getting is coho. And I'm like, coho are the most useless. If you're looking for a sporting fish, I mean, Jesus, downrigger pops and bink, and yeah, there's the fish. There's no fight. There's no nothing. It's like, to me, that's the boringest day. Now, kings, steelhead, brown trout, love it, love it, love it, love it. Lakers, even I like. And I love fishing off a boat on the Great Lakes, but I love shore fishing on Lake Michigan. And I tell you what, next time I get down south, if I got time, I'm gonna head over just north of Chicago. We used to fish a little bit off the rocks at Northwestern University. Guys do it all into Chicago, down at the harbors, Montrose Harbor, all of those down there. I never did much of that, but the North Shore area up, pretty much as far south as the rocks at Northwestern University. And I remember one in particular, I caught a monster king off of there. And it's hard to get them because the rocks are so high up and you're trying to haul this monster fish up. And I had to get down there to just like gill the thing. And I'm fighting them and trying to keep the rod tip up and climbing down these rip-rap rocks. And I slipped between three of them. And it was about an 8-foot drop into this hole. And as I came down, the rocks hit me right in the ribs, broke a rib, everything, and held onto the rod and got the fish. It was like a 28-pound king or 32-pound king, I forget. But yeah, that was a memorable one. And then just north of there, there's a place called, it's near Kenilworth or in Kenilworth, Tower Road Beach. And that was popular with us growing up because I went to high school not far from there. And it was at night, it was a makeout place down on the beach. And in the fall and spring, there was a warm water discharge for a small power plant there. And we would go catch steelhead, lake trout, kings, browns. We'd throw spawn sacks out there and just kill them. And their snagging season too. There'd always be guys snagging down there. But when they came in the fall, man, you would just kill them. And it was so much fun. We'd catch them on, what were they called? Little Cleo spoons and spawn sacks. Yeah, spawn sacks were the best. You'd get one female fish early on and get the spawn out of it, and then take a pair of your mom's old pantyhose and cut squares out and tie up the spawn in those, put them on the hook, toss them out there, and all kinds of fun, man. We'd blow off school 3 days a week and go fishing down there, me and Scradlip that I talk about here, sometimes 5 days a week. But yeah, I've never fished Lake Ontario, but I'm going to get over to Lake Erie and do some walleye fishing now that my daughter's going to school in Ohio, because that's always been something I've wanted to do, is go get a stringer full of 10-pound walleyes, which I hear that's kind of the norm. It's probably overdone, but man, it sure would be. I'd take one 10-pound walleye, but a stringer full would be nice. You see how crazy that, and that lake was dead 15 years ago. I mean, or 20 years ago. It's crazy. Let's see. Haven't finished one of his Friday night streams in a while. Have to sleep sometime. His are on later for me because they start, 9 Michigan, 8. No, they start the same time mine does, so it's not too bad. I usually hang in for the whole thing. His aren't as long as mine. Look, we're at 2 hours already. Let's see. Anyone in need of 74 mags or hamburger commercial? See a spec are the factory mags for the M77 PAP. Yes, they are. He makes a lot of nice stuff, man. You don't get better than his stuff. Yeah, Zastava USA gave him the contract for those. 2A EDU is here? I didn't see him. Well, good thing you're here. I'm glad you're here. We're just running. Oh, there he is. I'm always so busy. Yes, he is. He's busy doing good things, guys, and trying to uphold our rights the best he can. Trying to get that governor of his out of there. I'm going to do my best to make it there, man. It's going to be fun. It was a good time last time, and it'll be a good time again. So I can't wait to get there. Hopefully the weather's going to be good. We had a great day last time, and great food, everything. It was cool. Had a great time. Orion Fixer made it. What do you know? I'm a nobody in the 8K world, but more than 1 hour or more talks with him. He can confirm that was not me. Okay, good. I'm glad. I didn't want one of our guys over here going over there and starting some crap. I don't do any of my own. No, he doesn't. His moderator is still a moderator over here, but he hasn't been over here in a while. I haven't had many problems. We get 1 or 2 and they zap them, but I got nobody watching, nobody listening like he does. I've cleaned them once in a while. I'm gonna go shoot 1,001 sitting through my new PSA GF3. He had last year. He had that Palmetto State, and I got the chance to shoot it. It's the only Palmetto State I've ever shot. And let me tell you something. That thing was, the fit and finish was remarkable. It just shot so well. I've heard some Well, I don't know about build quality wise, but I've heard some customer service issues lately on KUSA that they're doing some wonky stuff and some orders haven't been being filled and stuff like that. Who knows? It may just be whiners, but Palmetto State, man, they got it dialed in, guys, and that's a good company to support. They're good people. His whole idea when he founded that company was to get as many modern sporting rifles into the hands of American citizens as humanly possible at a decent price to make them affordable. And he's done that. And he's put millions and millions and millions of them into our hands and made them the common, most popular weapon in the country. And that's a good thing when things are the norm, right? And then he did it with the AK when everybody else failed, when Century couldn't build one that would hold together, and everybody else failed, and nobody wanted to take the project on. They thought, well, too small a market, and that, what a bunch of dummies. Huh? Look what this platform has done now. I mean, it's monstrous. When me and 2A started doing this, I mean, like he said last week, he feels sorry for some of you guys getting in late, but hey, it happens. We're all different age groups. Back in my dad's age, Bakelite side folders were $2.99. Well, we couldn't even get a Chinese gun, right? They were banned before we were old enough, and everybody's got their day, and every niche has its day, but never. I don't think either of us, me or 2AEDU, would have thought that the AK would become what it has. It went from the working man's rifle, which is why me and him have them, why we got into them, right? Because we couldn't afford all the expensive stuff, right? So you could get a really cool rifle with a really cool story and really cool history, and you could get a lot of them, and you could feed them like crazy for pennies. Go get yourself a Wasser for $2.99 and a couple crates of ammo for $300 or less, and go shoot your brains out for days. And there were bins and bins of parts and wood and grips, and for $2 and $1 and 10 for $10. And there was all kinds of things to investigate and collect and find. And I don't think either of us got into it because we thought we'd make a ton of money on them. We got into them because we thought they were cool. And it's just kind of a benefit now that it is what it is. Actually, it's not a benefit because, okay, let's say a Vepr is $4,000 now. I'm never going to sell it. I don't care if I had 20 of them. I'm not going to sell it. That's not why I got into it. Oh, what the hell was that? That just something fell out of my safe. That's never good. Fortunately, it looks like it was this light. Ooh, thank God. I thought it was a pistol for a second. My God. Just a light. I hope you guys heard that crash. Just a light falling out of the safe. I guess the Velcro gave out. Yeah, we didn't get in it for the money. We got in it for the history, the coolness. We liked the different variants and what they represented, the different countries. And you could have a heck of a cool collection for dirt. If we had to do it over again, guys, I'll guarantee you neither of us could afford it. Life, with kids and wives and cars and houses, and who can afford some of this stuff now? I couldn't afford to rebuy it. There is no way in hell. And while some may see, oh man, look at all the money you made, and you don't make anything unless you sell it. And why do I want to sell it? I enjoy them. I enjoy looking at them, touching them, shooting them, taking them apart, cleaning them, noticing the little differences. That's why we're into it. Learning the history, why they made the changes, what they did when, why this country did that. That's the cool thing. So forget about the money, because unless you're a gun dealer or somebody in it to make a living from it, what's the point? All it did was make anything we didn't have or future purchases unobtainium, right? I can't go. There's a couple more Vepers I'd like to get, but I can't get one because I ain't got $4,000 to go spend on a rifle. Never in my life did I think to get certain firearms I wanted, I'd have to go pay $2,000 for a rifle or $3,000 for this or $4,000 for that. And I'm not talking AKs. I'm talking just other stuff. Um, Trying to think, an HK. Never would I have fathomed spending $3,000 to get a MP5. I mean, I don't know. That was beyond me. I was a $69. I don't think for decades I never spent more than $500 on a firearm ever. Just wouldn't have even thought about it. No way. And now you have to. You have to. What's the average AK now? It's about $1,000. You better say I got to spend $1,000 to get anything decent, unless you're going to get a Palmetto or something at 600. And there's deals to be had. Don't get me wrong. Buy a kit, put it together yourself, learn how to do it. But by the time you buy the right tools and everything, you're in it for another $1,000. And a press and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's not all glory. Because while it's nice to know that, yeah, okay, it's like a nest egg, but it's not. I don't consider it. It would have to be dire straits for me to sell that off. Now, once I'm gone, if my wife wants to make some money, God bless. But I don't know. It's to me, it's not a blessing. All it did was take it out of the hands of the average guy. And that's what we're about. Most of us here, right? I would assume. ARs, hey, let's face it. You may, if you're an AK dyed-in-the-wool AK guy and you're, AR, screw that. Well, I'm a lot like 2A to you on that. I just love firearms, period. I love everything. There's not much I wouldn't like in my collection. There's not much I look at and go, wow, no, I don't want one of those. I mean, there's just not many, like his Tauruses. I appreciate those even, man, for what a great gun for dirt cheap, I like it all. Even though I don't like Glocks, I still got a Glock because, hey, it's cool. I like shooting it, Canic. There's one that's still affordable, right? If you're looking at pistols, Canic's making a lot of cool stuff. One of the greatest triggers in polymer pistols. So much Garands used to be able to pick them up like dirt. Now look at, 1,500. But CMP still has them in the 600 to 700 range. If you guys want one, go get them because they're going away fast. You won't, guys, a couple years from now, there won't be any to be had. And that's a crying shame. Because if you don't have one of those in your collection, you don't have a collection. Let's see, 280. I haven't priced Vepers. I did. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm not kidding. Go on GB and check it out. You will just, and they're getting it on some. Look at some closed auctions. You won't believe it. And that's such a shame. I wish everybody that's into AKs could have gotten their hands on at least one Veper, because there is a difference. And it's not just, oh, it's Russian. No. God, what a beautiful rifle. What a beautiful rifle. Yeah, he says, I couldn't afford mine nowadays, but haven't sold any, so haven't made money. Yeah, exactly. Haven't priced Vepers in a while. I better check my new in the box Veper stash. I got 2 new in the box. That's it. I bought 2 of each, one to shoot, one to put away, just figuring, but I won't sell those either. AKs are cheap today. AKs are cheap today too, Ross. The PSA. Yes, that's just what, see, we're saying the exact same thing. And you know what? The KUSA aren't all that bad. I may have to try one of those out just because I'm one of the guys that is a believer that there's a true connection there somewhere. Maybe I'm crazy. What do you think, 2A? You think there's truly a, this company owns that company owns this one, from the different countries, and somehow they moved all the walnut shells, and KUSA is truly part of concern, Kalashnikov concern, somehow, some way. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to somehow. I just maybe it's just wishful thinking in my heart, but um, I think they just might be. I don't know. And I've heard it from a couple very influential people in the AK community that they believe that it's true as well. But I don't know. And that was a couple of years ago too. I haven't. Well, I haven't been around a conversation on the subject in a long time, so I don't know. Think about getting a PSA 102, or should I just get the GF5? Not much reviews on the 102. Um, you know, you can't go wrong with the GF5. You can't. You can't go wrong with the Palmetto State. Um, the 102, like you said, there's not a lot out there, but they're all good. I want the Glow Ace Gen 1. I do too. I'm not disappointed in my Gen 2. It's fabulous. It runs great. It's solid. The fit and finish is magnificent, but I'm disappointed that it doesn't have that classic styling. The sights change so much for it. Um, I don't know. Yeah. And for some reason, they were supposed to put the longer trigger on the new one. I didn't even get that. So there's not even a plus there. I keep meaning to give them a call and say, hey, where's my long trigger? I don't know how the hell mine got the short trigger, but it did. Look at the price on Gen 1s. My God. They went through the roof too. And I could have bought one. Guys, all I'm going to tell you, when you see something and you're pining over it, and you're thinking, well, oh, that's a lot of money. I don't know. I should just buy it. Just trust me. The kicking yourself in the ass you'll do is not worth it. Just grab it and figure out the consequences later. I'm not telling you got to keep a roof over everyone's head, but yeah. The UK dumped a shit ton of grands in the ocean when they were done with them. Bastards. I never heard about that. There's one I need that I want. I want an Enfield, but I just haven't had the time to study up on them, and I don't know which mark I want. Do I want Mark 1, 2, 7, 17, 18, 72, Mark B, C? I don't know. I don't know enough about them. I would like a Mummy Enfield. I told you guys the story if some of you listened to that one. There's they call them Mummy Enfields. And 2A, he's got way more knowledge on the milsurp market than I do. But there were these Mummy, if you can add something, please add something. Mummy Enfields, and they were from the arsenal. When they were made, they were wrapped up, cosmoline the shit out of them. And then they wrapped them up in like burlap, tagged them, and put them in the arsenal. And somehow a big old batch of them got out. Well, not too big, but a batch got out and put on the open market. And I don't know how many were around originally. I saw a video on it, and then I decided to go look, and I found one, and I was bidding on it, and it ended on a Sunday night. I ended up going out to dinner with the family. And by the time I remembered, oh crap, the auction, it had ended and I missed it by whatever. But these guns, when you unwrapped them, if you unwrapped them, they were as pristine gets. I mean, just out of the factory, perfection. Not a ding in the wood, nothing. Had the original tags on them. A lot of big Enfield collectors bought them and just left them wrapped. They wanted to show it. Look, here's how it is. Can't see the gun, but trust me, it's in there. I'd save the wrap, I guess. Man, what a great YouTube video. And talk about an unboxing, huh? Unwrapping the Mummy. But it was so cool to see. And that's how I like my guns. Yeah, I have some that show their wear and their tear and all that, but if I could have an original, pristine, perfect example of every World War II gun, oh my God, that would make me happy. I hate scratches. I hate things like that. It's just my OCD in me. And teach his own. Some guys love it. The more beat up, the better. I'm the opposite. And I thought, man, would that be cool? Maybe I'll continue that search, see if I can find one, because that really made my day. But I don't know what mark those were either. And I don't know much about them. So maybe 2AED, you can fill us in on that. That'd be cool. He says, I know KUSA was part of K Concern regardless what they see. Yeah. I have a couple AKM receivers from them that I bought 2 years before they made a complete 7.62. Yeah. And they have the data package and all of that. It's got to be. The only thing that weirds me out on it is their fixtures and stuff. I've seen videos in the factory. And yeah, I know these other factories were built whenever, and a lot have been updated and this and that, but it looks more like at least the video I saw looks more like a typical boutique USA AK shop, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see the right stuff, but that's the only thing that threw me off. But yeah, somehow it's got to be. I mean, it's the real deal. In my opinion, it's the real deal because they're too perfect. The differences aren't there. They're the same damn gun, you know. At least what I've seen, I haven't really heard or seen anything different. Uh, they're it. I heard RS Regulate is going to come out with a Galil Gen 2 handguard. I certainly hope they do. And yeah, God, that Gen 1, I'll find one eventually at the right money. They're just right now, they're hot and heavy. That'll die down a little bit, hopefully. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, guys. Sometimes that, when this AK thing started getting as big as it is, I thought, it'll die off. It can't be that big. And look at it, man. It went from guys pounding together kit guns in their garage, or back in the day, screwing them together. Yeah, those were some beauties, boy. Used to come across one of those in a gun shop once in a while as a trade-in. I couldn't believe they'd be selling them. I mean, guys, yeah, they put together kits. They were called screw builds. And I'm sure 2A's seen some of those. Maybe he did one. I doubt. Yeah, maybe he did one. No, I doubt he did. But man, screw builds. Holy cow. I have footage of PSA building a kit. Yeah, from a few weeks ago. You showed it before, though, didn't you? You had a video before, I could swear. Was that AR builds, maybe? I thought it was AK. Too bad YouTube won't allow all. Really? At a factory? I mean, I've seen videos from who the heck is it? They're not even in English. They're in God knows Russian or some other language, and they're showing them building them Polish. They're Polish videos actually, and there's some Russian, and then there's some Russian ammo manufacturers showing everything too. They won't allow them. They take them down or they demonetize them. Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, if you're showing, that's kind of like historic and more manufacturing than it is, just purely firearms. I don't know. There's so many fine lines. If somebody else did it, some other channel, like a manufacturing facility channel that shows different or how it's made, they'd allow it on there because you're a gun channel. They don't, I don't know. I don't know. It's cool you got somebody to talk to though to find out about it. I wouldn't know. I'd just post it and get screwed on it. We'll talk when we go to the shoot. When I show up at the shoot, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna clear my schedule if I can. There'd have to be something really big to hold me back, but I will be there. Screw build. I've never done one. I was waiting for that. He's probably going, bastard thinks I did a screw build. Not mine. We'll work for guns is here. Cool. Good to have you, man. Chad O'Cull 2 showed up. Dissident did a limited run of Gen 1556. I can't read it. I don't have my glasses. Sorry. Yes, new old stock. There were also Mummy Hugo Mausers. Wow, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be cool. I only have one Mauser, and that's a shame. I really, I never got into the Yugos and Spanish and stuff like that. I viewed them as, well, it's not a German Mauser, kind of deal. But you look at them and they're finely made weapons. I mean, they really are. And God, they are so cheap. I'm sure they're still fairly affordable. But you used to be able to pick those up. Man, if you just wanted a shooter or whatever, as some of the Swiss guns and the Swedish guns, and there was so much. There was so much around, and it just depended, what you lucked into. The way it happened for me is I walked in, I'm walking past, I see $69. What's that? It just so happened to be there were Mosin guns. Okay, let's try it out. Next thing I know, I'm reading everything I can find on them, and then but the same thing could have happened had I walked past a Swedish gun and just went, oh, look at that, but I just went down that Russian rabbit hole, so, oh, that's the problem with getting old and reading glasses. That's hilarious. No build videos allowed anymore on YouTube. Look at their fight. Yeah, no, I know that. But when you're talking a factory, that's different than a guy showing how to put one together with, whatever tools your set of tools or tool builders tools you're using, or bending a flat on a press or something. When you're talking legit factory, I thought they show who was it? There's different. Oh, Anderson. They show Anderson manufacturing videos, and maybe it's because they're just building individual. They're showing the barrels, receivers, this, that, milling them, making them. I've seen original AK factory builds over in, it might have been a Romanian or Tula maybe. But I've seen those on there. The Polish factories I've seen where they're building them. Granted, not gun channels, but I don't know. Just weird. I'm kind of into Mausers, maybe a bit more than kind of. Yeah. You're into everything. He's got such cool. All someone's got to do is, well, I should say back in the day when they let us touch them, somebody would make a comment about, I got such and such, or how about these? And you go, oh, hold on a minute. And it didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter what it was either. It was hilarious. I used to laugh. I just look at the comment and go, he's got one. Watch this. Oh, God. Yeah, so much fun. It is fun, guys. There's still a lot of stuff out there. You know what you got to do? You got to, I love doing this. Hop in, especially if I'm out of state or something. Hop in pawn shops or gun shops, for that matter. Finding the little hole in the wall joints, smaller towns. You never know what you're going to find on that used gun rack. And you walk in and there's just something different. And you might not even know a lot about it. But if it's inexpensive, take a shot. You look down at a clean bore. Yeah, let's give it a shot. You might stumble into something really cool, and you might end up with, a hobby of one country or one platform that you really love at the end of the day. Or it leads you down a whole nother rabbit hole. But there's always something. There's still some cheap surplus to find. It's just not going to happen at certainly the big box stores and or some of the bigger, more well-known shops. Find those little out of the way places, and that's what you got to be digging, investigating, finding. Talking to old guys at the range. That's a great way to get into something. and they may have some stuff that I'm not saying you're going to rip them off or something, but they may just be happy to sell you something at a decent price because they want to see it go to somebody that appreciates it, and that's fair on everybody's end. They want to help you out, and you're willing to learn. You're a young guy willing to learn and keep things going and keep fighting for our rights and all that. They're happy to do it. One day maybe that's going to be me. I thought I'd have someone to give them all to, but hey, one day maybe it just helps some kids out. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. I'm on the fence between Zastava and Galil Ace, both in 5.56. If I had to do one, I'd do the Ace. I really would. Yeah, that's what I would do. I love Yugo guns, but if I had to do just one, I really like the Galils, man. Just the quality is just out there. I mean, it's great stuff. Really, really nice and smooth. I got to shoot one. What did I shoot? I shot a 7.62 rifle that a guy I met at the range had, and he said, "Hey, you want to try this out?" And he had the new primary arms, just one power red dot on it, but with the bigger lens and the ACSS reticle on it, or maybe it was two power. I don't remember. But wow, what a nice setup, and just such a solid, nice shooting gun. They just shoot so well. They just feel right. I don't know. When something's just got such a nice quality, solid feel to it, I think you'd be really happy. I would choose the FB Ratum over either if you want a straight AK, sure. But if you're considering that Galil, boy, I like these Galils. I'm going to buy more Galils. I really like them. Just a nice pattern. And I'm going to buy rifles. I like the pistol, but I'm going to buy rifles. Something about them speaks to me. So that's what I'm going to do. Australia Kid, the other two you mentioned are very heavy. They are. But I think that's what gives them that feel. What I meant by straight AKM, yeah, I figured. I would do Ace as well. I was very fortunate and just got a Burrell. I want a Burrell bad. And I know I keep saying that, and I'll keep saying it till they go away. Just funds have been tight lately, very tight. Just got done with that wedding, Man, oh man. Talk about draining things. I have a Galil ARM and an M90 and M85 and Burrell. They're all cool, but for a shooter and carrying it around, the Burrell, yeah. And they're different. It's something different. And I have no Polish guns right now, zero. So love to do it. I think that's definitely going to be next on the agenda. What else? What Galil rifle caliber would you buy first and why? I debated that. 280U says 5.56, and I debated just that. I thought 5.56 because that's the caliber, right? That's the military gun, right? That's the version. But then I thought, well, 7.62, I love, and I got so much of it. And 5.56, I can reload all I want. And I do. I reload thousands of rounds. I get on that progressive, man. I love it, and I can shoot forever and not worry about running out. And I really kicked it around, and what it came down to at the time was what they had in stock. So they had, let me get this straight. The pistols were in 3 barrel lengths, and in my opinion, each caliber had its best barrel length. So the longest one, which I think was 13, maybe 13 and a half, something like that, would have been what I would have bought a 5.56 inch had I bought it in a pistol length. And then the 8-inch or 10-inch, whatever this one is what I would have bought the 7.62 in. But obviously the 223 or 5.56 in the longest barrel length possible, at least 10 and a half inches, right, to get the most out of it, or 11 and a half, some people say. Had they had that, I would have done that, but they didn't. They had the shorter barrel. And so I went with the 7.62. But yeah, I really agonized over which one to buy. And at the end of the day, I did that figuring, well, when I come across the right one, the rifle, I would do that one. So if I get another one, it'll be 5.56. But I'd also like a 7.62 rifle too, just because how well that one shot that I shot. Tantal, man, I remember when Tantals were around. Century was bringing them. Those were nice guns. But there was so much other stuff to buy then that I was snapping up. That's the problem. The 5.45 ammo. Had I stockpiled all that stuff before they banned it, I would have done it. But I didn't want to do a whole nother caliber and all the mags and everything else. I had kind of blinders on, you know. That's what I'll tell you guys. Don't go into things with blinders saying, I'm just going to stay here or I'm just going to stay here. More or less, just go by what's out there, what's available. When it's available, grab it because this stuff, some stuff may be around forever, right? But they'll change it up. It won't be as cool. Like the Gen 2 won't be as cool as the Gen 1 or it goes away or whatever. So, go by what is there, what you can get your hands on right away and just do it. I shot an ace when I hung out with IWI. I liked it, but it was heavy and doesn't have rock lock mags. Yep. Trying to think. Wait a minute. I shot an ace when I hung out with IWI. What caliber are we talking about? Because my 7.62's got the rock lock. It does right now. It just came out. Oh yeah, mine's rock lock. Don't forget PSA 5.56. How are those running? Pretty nice. Dissident makes some cool stuff. They really do. They made a couple of those AK builds they were doing were pretty sharp. Pretty sharp. And then one of the guys, what's his name? He watches 280 ADU channel too, and he did a kind of a Dissident Arms clone. The one that had the rack number on the stock and all. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was really neat. You have to go check out Gen 1, 5.56, and 13. Yep. That's the one I would buy if I was doing the pistol length. And it takes 5.56 ace and it takes the AR mags. Yeah, that would be cool. It's always great when they take AR mags, man. No problem there. That's why I love my Spanish Set-Me. That gun is so much fun to shoot and so smooth. God, it's a neat gun. I'm glad I snapped that up when I did. I just happened to, and it's one of those things you got to find a good dealer that brings in the cool stuff. And you visit them once a week and you walk in, you go, oh, wow, look, it's there. And oh, yeah, I'll take it. That kind of thing. It's not, you got to go search it out online and find it. And you can't touch and feel. It's cool to have a dealer that brings in, he's got a good sense of what's neat, cool, good finds, neat stuff. And you can go touchy-feely and all. And I just walked in one day and it was sitting there and he had it out on the counter actually on a like a display holder. And it was the L and all. And I went, oh, that's kind of cool. And look at that. If I want SBR, it comes with that and a cool case. And it takes AR mags. and it's just so smooth. I love that gun. Love it, love it, love it. If you guys check out my video, a bunch of other videos on that Spanish set me. It's a cool story behind it too, with the engineers that ended up at HK, and he really did a nice job reproducing this gun. I mean, even his repop furniture that he sells and everything, just he went the extra mile on the receivers too, some of the bends. He could have saved a lot of money on the stampings, the tooling, and he didn't. He went with the original on this little part that cost a boatload extra to make the dies for, and he did it. And they're just such sharp, good running guns. Really, really like it. Do, 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 do. Yeah, right. No money. Yeah, I know. Everything was going good for a while. In the last year, boy, maybe it's the increase in the prices too. I don't know, but it's really cut into the budget. Marvin says, I would buy it if I didn't live in California. Yeah, and I bet you always hear, well, you can just move, right? Not always that easy, is it? There's never enough money. This gets expensive quickly. It does. I have a couple set me C rifles. I like yours. Oh, cool. You saw it. Yeah, it's cool. I always looked at set me's. I'd see some of the Century guns and stuff in a shop, and I thought, yeah, maybe the Century thing threw me off. Then when I saw this thing, just man, they do a really nice job on it. I should get a fixed stock one too because I like it enough. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. What was I going to say? Yeah. Guys, think about how expensive this gets. If you forget about the guns, take a look one day at wherever you keep your stuff. If it's on a workbench or in a room or under the stairs or in the garage or whatever, go count up your mags and how about your miscellaneous ammo? Everyone's got that miscellaneous stuff of either guns you got rid of or this or that. Mags, holsters, slings, all the little miscellaneous doodads. How about throw in bayonets? Oh, holy cow. And just start adding it up and do it from the standpoint of, okay, if I took this pile and got a table at a gun show, and you will look and go, oh my God, at what point did this get, you know? And maybe too, I have a hard time selling anything because I find coolness in everything. I could collect slings, I could collect bayonets, I do collect oil bottles, I collect all of it. I'm just one of those guys. I'm a hoarder. Once I got it, I don't want to give it up. But you start looking at stuff that is completely useless to you. You don't have the platform it goes with, or you sold it, or I got these. I bought a bunch because they were cheap back in the day, but I'm never going to use them, and but I don't want to sell them. Well, if you could probably put together a trunk full of that stuff and just take it and turn it into something really nice, because the money just adds up, especially at today's prices. And I'm talking for the most part, kind of accessories and stuff for milsurp stuff for platforms that are very popular right now. Some stuff, yeah, I remember when Romanian bayonets were dirt cheap. I mean, dirt, $3, $5, whatever, because God, and you ended up, guys would give them to you, I got piles of them. It's like, now I look what they're getting for this stuff. Go look what Mosin Nagant bayonets are going for. I mean, they're not crazy money, but for what they are or were in the day, you could buy them $1 a piece. Guys would have 200 of them in a barrel, and now they get 25 or $40 a piece for them or something. Jesus. I should start selling some of it off. But yeah, I don't know. What are you gonna do? One day it'll just be worth more, I guess. And that stuff is kind of the stuff that I would let go. So I don't know. But I guess the point to all this is, guys, don't fret. Don't think you missed out on something. There's always something coming down the pipe. And it might not be milsurp. There's a lot of stuff in the 80s, for instance, that wasn't milsurp necessarily, that was cheap and is now ridiculous. Look at some of these KG9s, Inner Dynamics. Those were $200 guns back in the day, and now guys are paying ridiculous stuff, and they're collectible. There's all kinds of stuff. A lot of some look at some of the AR kits. Those are, although the price is up there on those too, but there's a lot of cool stuff. You just got to dig around. Um, Kits. Think about the kits put away you could sell too. But those that's what I'm gonna build. That's how I'm gonna spend my time when I get older, I guess. When I got nothing to do and I'm retired, when I can take the time and do it right. But yeah, there's always something. Don't fret. Get out there and find deals. There's stuff coming out all the time that you never thought of, that all of a sudden pops up, and you know, um, Glock Gen 1s. Look what Gen 1s are bringing. Stuff like that. There'll be a Gen 1 of something coming down the pipe that one day, at the time you're buying it, you won't think it'll ever be anything. And all of a sudden, wow. Maybe the golden age is gone, but there's other ages to come. So don't worry about it. It will happen. Has nothing to do with my love for guns, and 2A is just, it is just insane with prices on milsurps and AKs, which have always been my passion. Yeah. So first PSA 56 being built, it looks pretty good so for quality. A couple of small details. Yeah, I saw that Type 56 thing. That's going to be pretty cool. Hey, who knows, guys? Think about it. The first American-made AKs. How many gens are we on now with PSA? And everyone's going, oh, well, those first ones were junk. Watch 20 years from now. A Gen 1 that don't run worth a shit will be worth crazy money. I remember when, it always does. Taurus will have some stuff one day that'll be worth money. They all do. All of it is eventually. Look at pre-63 lever action 94s. How about the older 1022s before they went to the polymer triggers and trigger guards? All of it. Whatever you're into, there's a version or a year or a cutoff point where these become collectible. Those don't. Look at Ruger pistols, Blackhawks. Yellow boxes. Everything has a collectability to it. Just does. Hell, who knows? Maybe one day, and I have more hope for it now than I ever did. Maybe it'll never happen, but maybe one day the milsurp market opens wide open because maybe the NFA goes away. And now there's a whole new golden age to milsurps, right? Because let's face it, the reason you had all these milsurps was because they were bolt action or semi-automatic, or they could be rebuilt into semi-automatic and brought in. But imagine, and I'm not saying it is, but maybe, or wishful thinking or whatever, if the NFA goes away, that opens a whole new world of the golden age of milsurps, my friends. That opens up all that new modern stuff, and that would be a heyday. Holy cow. Could you imagine? What would you buy? I mean, there'd be so much then. Holy cow. And you know what? I don't think most collectors wouldn't even look at it for the rat-a-tat side of it. They would just be like, "Oh, we can have it again." There's all this cool stuff then that could come in or whatever. But then you'd still be facing import things, and well, who knows? I don't know. Interesting to think about, though, isn't it? Very interesting. The stuff that is a big commercial flop, always the KG9. Those things were the biggest pieces of crap. They wore out in a few hundred rounds at best, or never ran, or ran inconsistently. Um, I remember one back in the day that the gun didn't have 10 mags through it, and it was doubling and tripling. They were just junk, absolute junk. And now look at them. Demolition Ranch just did a video on a KG9. He said he had one back in the day and it never ran, and then he found one. He bought it. The guy said that it ran pretty good. He took that with a grain of salt, and he shot it on the video for the first time. He's like, "It runs, it runs. I have the cool. This is," and his collection, right? He's got some crazy expensive stuff. I think he's got a Modus. Uh, he's like, "This is my favorite gun in my whole collection, and it's accurate too." And he's going nuts over it. And guys, I guess they were cool back then. They were, at least to a young kid, they were. But to anybody that wanted a gun that ran reliably, they were just shit boxes. And now look at, I mean, there's always, yeah, anything that is a commercial flop, he's absolutely right. And I think I said that last week. I mean, the stuff that flops, just buy one, put it away. Hopefully it's cheaper than dirt, and it was junk and nobody wanted it. Put it away. You know why? Because the numbers are low, first of all. That's first and foremost. Second of all, there's nostalgia that comes around. When the guys buying it at a certain age hit a certain age, all of a sudden they want it again. You know, I bring up the thing on Trans Am, 70s Trans Ams. The guys that had them in high school are of age now, and they got the money. They're in their 50s, whatever, and they can spend stupid money on the first car they got lucky in or whatever. And look at what Trans Ams did. Trans Ams I had are over 100 grand now that I paid nothing for. I bought a brand new one for $6,200, a Smokey and the Bandit edition. Brand new, 6,200, drove out of the showroom with it. You should see what that car's bringing now. The 70 and a half I had, now they're 108,000, 120,000. Craziness. And that's just how it is. So look for that stuff. Look for that stuff. Things that are unique, strange. How about a high point carbine? Right? The one with the bolt sticking out of the bolt to rack it. A bolt sticking out of the bolt. Maybe. I don't know. All kinds of cool stuff. I bet my Zip 22 has gone up in value. Yeah. Hey, Joe made it in. Good to see you, my man. We thought he fell asleep. You need your beauty rest, Joe. Ross, something no longer available. Yeah, it's what it is. There's always something, always something. So just keep your eyes open, point your nose in the right direction. Just know where to sniff. That's what it's all about. You develop a knack for it after a while, And yeah, I think everybody should own a high point, at least one that you can drag behind the truck, bury in the backyard for a few months, pull it out, whatever, use for a target, and then see if it'll run, that kind of thing. I don't know. The yeet cannon. Yeah. Think about it. The yeet thing on that. 20 years from now, guys will be going, I got to have a yeet cannon, It's hilarious. It's hilarious because we're morons. We're guys. That's why. I have a rare camo pattern high point carbine. There you go. First gen Planet of the Apes style. Cool gun, right? Anytime you see it on a rack, you got to pick it up and go, wow, pretty cool. What caliber? 45 maybe? 45 would be cool. There's something about pistol caliber carbine and 45, just that thwack, Maybe I go get one. I always wanted to buy one and I just never did. I don't know. I thought, but that's the one to watch. I've seen that camel pattern too. There's a joint by us that had one and I almost bought it. I read an article about him and his manufacturing plant and his guarantees and all. And it was more a report on the business end of it and his warranties and stuff. And they were using him as an example of stuff in this business magazine. It was a very interesting article. Very interesting. I have a high point. My first purchase. Don't let it go, man. I'm telling you. I'm not saying mine is collectible, though. It might be. It might be. Never know. Anyways, guys, we're at 3 hours, man. This is, oh my God. I don't even know how I babble this long about stuff. But anyhow, man, it's good to have 2AEDU in here. It's good to have him talking like, one of the guys, like our chat, right? It's good to get in a chat when you do this every week. When you have the time, it's fun to get out and just chat on the other side of things. And just like you're sitting around having coffee with the guys, that's what's cool about it. Nothing in particular, just things that come up in the chat. That's why I read through them. Sometimes you guys might think, well, what's he doing? He's looking over because I like to see what you guys have to say. I really do. You guys bring up, I don't have as much time as I used to have. I follow the trends and the stuff as close as I can, but I don't have the time to watch the videos anymore and all this. And you guys inform me on a lot of stuff. So, yeah, it is what it is, and it's fun. That's why we do it. Some nights on Tuesdays, I get home from work and I go, it's Tuesday. I got to do the stream. And then I get home, I have some dinner. All right, ready for the stream. Let's go, So it's always fun. It's always fun, especially when I get in. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be on here for 3 damn hours. But I am. Mr. 2A, I will talk to you hopefully this week or maybe early next week and see what we're going to do and maybe plan out a little video and some cool stuff to bring. So we'll talk about it. We'll see. It doesn't have to be AKs. It could be anything, but something cool. It was a fun time. God, some of the memorable people. For those of you that go on to AEDU, Jane, oh my God, I could talk to that lady forever. You talk about a badass woman telling me the stories when she worked for Ford and everything and building armored cars and just what a cool lady. What a cool lady. So many good people. And it's good to touch base with them. I still say we got to get a shoot together here in southern Wisconsin. Something. I don't know. We'll see. But I think maybe a summer shoot, something like that. Break up the year. You do the fall. We could do early summer. I don't know. Kind of between Memorial Day and 4th of July or something. That's hard, though, too. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But hopefully we get some good weather and all that. And we'll go from there. A couple videos coming out this week. And we'll go from there, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the little basic tour and advice on accessories and kind of must-haves. And everybody's got their opinion. Just try to steer you clear of some pitfalls and steer you towards some things that are absolute positives as far as companies, quality, stuff like that. If you can save a couple of mistakes and save a little money and use it to buy something else, cool. If you got any questions about it, throw it in on, I don't mind even if you throw it in on one of my recent videos, even if it's on another subject, because I read through those more recent ones to answer some of the questions. You can throw it in there. You can bring it up next week, whatever the case may be. And I'll try and answer it for you, steer you in the right direction. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the stuff I did recommend is quality and you can't go wrong. And it's probably the best way to go in most cases because I've just learn through trial and error. That's how I end up with boxes full of useless stuff. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thanks as always. I appreciate it. Check out our Facebook, our Instagram. Check out our website. It's under development. We add a little bit here and there when we can. But that's about it. Don't forget about super chats. It really helps out the channel. We appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, get out there, find a cool new shop, grab something different that you haven't futzed with yet. And you might just find another rabbit hole that'll run on down. So it's good. Check out 2A on Friday night, 9 o'clock Michigan time, 8 o'clock Central time. Great chat, great 2A stuff. Help support him and his channel. Good stuff. Rabbit Hole Reviews is in here too. Check out his channel. He's brand new at it. He's starting out. And I got a feeling he's going to have a decent channel over there. So check him out. And as always, guys, thanks for everything. Rockford Ordnance out. And thank 2ADU for coming over, man. That's awesome. Glad to see you. Good nighty.